First, can I make my
Give it back.
avatar? I can make it a GIF. I do have. I have to search tenor. I can't make it my own GIF.
Just upload your own GIF to Tenor.
Yeah, that's like crazy amounts of work. I don't really like doing. Let's see. Can I find? Okay, I mean, it's fine. I found the GIF that I was going to do anyway because it's not exactly a hard to find GIF. A little more zoomed in than I wanted. Okay,
Riley.
rotating gets really silly. To put that on. Yeah, this is. See, I could make it my full profile. I'm not sure if I want to take Momika out quite yet.
That's everywhere. That's gotta go. Okay. Well, we should be live.
Michael, why is your picture fake Miku?
What do you mean fake Miku?
It's fake Miku.
Nah. Bread.
Red Miku.
Bread.
We're here. We're
Uh,
live. It's
Oh,
time.
We're
Amazing.
live.
We did
we
it.
did it
We started a season
like-
of the podcast.
5 weeks late. But we are here. in
No,
the
we're
summer.
not.
We did it.
We're only a week late. Kind of, maybe. This is about where we would be normally when we started last season too.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't keep track of shit like
Episode 4s and 5s. That's
that.
about where.
That's not my job.
That's about. So like 6s are coming out, but who's counting? Who's counting?
I mean, you are apparently right now.
No, never. I don't count. That would involve me like
Yes.
keeping track of
Ugh.
statistics or stuff. I don't do
Yeah.
that. That's nerd shit. I don't do that. Instead, here's my anime podcast. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, nerd shit. We're gonna talk about
we
other.
did-
Yeah, Discord
He was
Discord
too
didn't
good,
like that.
He won, therefore he's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That since Discord cut out on me for that, they said Austin is gone, and that is true. We've killed him. Cold blood,
Also, he's busy and finishing up school and stuff and Pokemon this year. So
like a
No,
loser.
That's definitely not the reason. No, he's dead.
I didn't run it down at the first regional. Let's go
Let's go.
for the new format.
Thankfully, my lighting is the way it is because I am sunburned, so you can't tell, which it's great. It's perfect, just
Ugh.
as calculated. I had a wedding, and I was in sun
Mm.
for most of said wedding, so it's also literally this side of my face because I had the hair part like this the whole day. It's very funny. Mason knows because he's seen my snaps. It's very obvious in those that I am sunburned. But this is
Yeah.
neither here nor there. We're here to talk about a podcast of anime that we do. And while we have plenty of things we could talk about what we've been doing and things tangential to anime, we have 11 shows, 3 episodes each to get through on all of these shows to the best of our abilities, in a way that makes sense. So we're not gonna do that. Now you might have a couple of questions. Some of those questions might be, there's 4 of you, 11 shows. Yeah, we didn't feel like going back to 12. Cause that sucks. So one of us just didn't get an extra show. It was John.
That's me.
That is because we hate him. There is no other reason,
it's
or
because the wheel hates me. It's because the wheel hates
which
me.
is
we
the
know
same
this.
as us.
True.
And we are slaves to the wheel.
Yeah.
Therefore,
So John gets the luxury of not having to talk about 9 episodes of anime and only 6.
Which is great because
which-
I'm also kind of sick.
I was
this
gonna
week,
say,
so-
which actually really helps him. We are gonna be talking about our shows, or 11 shows, in an order. They're gonna start Michael show, my show, Mason show, John show, and that's gonna repeat until we hit the 3rd cycle where it's the same thing, but John doesn't have a show, which
True.
works out because his would be the last one in the set anyway. So fun fact, if you are a viewer who does not talk to us, which is everybody, I don't even think I told Sakif this. Our first show that we're starting the podcast off with tonight is not the show we said we were starting the podcast off with when we picked shows. Moonrise is not on this podcast anymore because all of it is out, which is actually not the problem. The problem is that it's 18 episodes, and that's complicated to do for this podcast format.
If it was good, it would have been really awkward at the end when we had to randomly cut it off at 13 for final episode or whatever.
Or be unfair and watch an additional 7 episodes of Moonrise.
Wait, either way, stupid.
So instead, Michael picked the next logical best choice. Michael, what are we watching instead?
Oh yeah, we're watching Umamusume, Cinderella Gray, the spin-off side story secondary show in the Umamusume universe.
Yeah, it's a sports anime, and sometimes
sports
an idol anime. Don't worry about it.
So-
We'll talk about it.
I was talking about having to watch this yesterday. I'm like, no, Amber, you want to watch Horse Girl anime with me? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then she pulls up and she goes, I thought you meant like Horse Girl anime. Like, no, Horse Girl anime.
Yes.
Not Horse Girl anime.
Yeah.
They are horse
Big
girls.
difference. They're horse girls.
But
They are
we'll
girls that are horses.
we'll dive into that more in a bit when we start talking about our shows. So, Cinderella Gray will be our first show, and then we go down in this talking order. In case you forgot, your FORMA, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Yes, we are allowing it on the podcast in the same way that we're allowing Cinderella Gray. Witch Watch, Mono, Rock is a Lady's Modesty, Mobile Suit Gundam, can someone
GQuuuuuuX.
GQuuuuuuX. Lazarus, ZatsuTabi, that's Journey. Once Upon a Witch's Death, and we are closing the podcast with To Be Hero X. Very fun. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Incredibly
With peak.
incredibly different mood than last season where we ended podcasts with fucking Momentary Lily on the first week.
I don't know what you mean. That was also
What do you
ending
mean?
with peak.
Same quality show.
Same.
Very similar.
Both of them look
Very
nothing like
similar
anything you've
shows.
ever seen before.
That's not true.
Hey, somebody flies.
That's not true. To Be Hero X kind of looks like Arcane every once in a while. When
I
it
wasn't gonna say
feels
it.
like it.
I
It
literally
very
put that in
clearly
my
does.
notes is, wow, this shit looks a lot like Arcane. Did Fortiche work on this?
It wasn't watching episode 1. I looked it up. I was
Episode
like,
1 especially.
is this the
There-
same?
There
CPU?
are we'll talk about it when we get there more, but there are particular characters in particular times the art style really looks like the Arcane art style, because this show does funky things, but we'll get there when we get there. Viewer, if you don't know, we're going to talk about these shows every week. This week we've watched 3 episodes each so that we could get a good feel of the show before we murder one of them in cold blood. We will do that at the end of the episode where we vote to either save or slay these shows. The show that has the most slays goes off. If there's a tie, we send it to the wheel because, as Michael expressed earlier, yes. So, with that in mind, we will be diving into these shows to the best of our abilities. There's going to be spoilers for the first 3 episodes. Do not tell us anything that happens past episode 3. You'll be banned forever from everything. Actually, I have the authority. Don't worry about it, and don't test me. In addition to that, we do one other thing when talking about our shows every week, and that is we put them on a nice, silly graph that we call it's not a graph, but we put them in order for how we feel about them, and that is the power ranking. And you'll see, viewers, that the power ranking has some names bolded.
I'm not ready for this PO.
The bolds happen
I'm
when
so excited.
the bolds happen
I
when a
took-
show
I
is
took a- I
uniquely
took- See, I took 10 names and put them in a hat and just kind of pulled them out one by one.
fair.
Look,
And went, that should
there's
probably
an
go
issue
there.
here in that the 2 shows that are in my 10 and 11 are like 5 or 6 vote offs in any other season, but this season is just peak.
That's crazy.
I-
You're 10 and
I don't know
11.
about Pete,
Uh,
but, like,
my
there's a lot of
11
good stuff.
I'll be with you. My 11's my week 1 vote off a couple of times. I won't front with you about that.
Fair.
But that we'll
I was
talk
just gonna
about
tag everything
we'll
that's
talk
up to
about
the
why.
Hero X, to be honest. I was gonna
So-
do the Dylan strat.
Again though, the bolds happen when a show is uniquely in that quadrant of the power ranking for that person. 4 people means funny things can happen quite frequently. Because all it requires is 2 people to put a show in the same area and the other 2 to put them in the other ones. So
Sean, you
welcome.
want to send us the power
Yep.
ranking,
No,
by
I
the
know.
way?
I wanted to get my words out before your
Sean,
reaction.
do you want to not send us
Sorry.
and actually just make us like have to speculate what everyone put where?
Yeah, precisely.
That
I will
would've been
say,
very funny.
we're gonna have lots of conversations about my power ranking in particular.
No, see, PRs don't matter week 1.
We're gonna
True.
get into why. I would
I'm
argue.
surprised we all have the
Everyone
same
hated
show.
ZatsuTabi as much as I did.
Same top and bottom. That's
Yeah.
great.
Shout out to
Fuck,
us.
everyone else hated ZatsuTabi. It would be so weird if you guys didn't dislike that shit.
It's almost like there's
We'll get
another
to.
show.
There's another show that does the exact
Every
same
single
thing. but
person
better.
here has 3 bolds exactly, and I think that's awesome.
It's
Or
Michael has
at
4.
least 3.
I have
Yeah,
4.
at least 3.
Yeah, everybody has a show bolded in the top, the middle, and the bottom. Because a lot of the time, what happened this week was people had 2 shows somewhere, usually the middle. Like, 2 people shared a show in the middle, and then the other 2 people had them either in top and bottom. And it's very funny. There's a couple of odd cases where 2 people have a show in the bottom, or 2 people have a show in the top, and then we spaced it again. It's very funny. It's actually more interesting to see which show is not bolded across anybody's list. That is the more interesting fact. I believe it's Witch Watch, To Be Hero, and ZatsuTabi. I think that's it.
Which watch is bolded?
Yeah. No, it's not.
Oh, is it not? Is it not?
Which watch
No.
is not?
Oh, I'm surprised.
Which watch is double middle, double bottom?
Mhm.
Which again, this week,
Where it should be.
cutoff for bottom 4 is always rough. That does not mean anything, respectfully. Top 3 is very funny. I'm happy that we will get to talk about Vigilantes pretty quick because I'll explain why Vigilantes is where it is when we talk about it. But instead, we get to go right into what phenomenal show we get to start with, Michael. It's all you.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and clearly my power ranking expresses how I feel about this show.
Umamusume, Cinderella Grey.
So I gotta pull up
it's-
horse names.
Telling the story of the racer Oguri Cap.
Ooh.
Uh,
I'm so anyone else
she-
annoyed that her name isn't Cinderella Grey?
Yes.
Everyone
I
else
mean,
is like,
I mean,
what's
the
your name? You're like,
premise
this is
in
what
the
they named
other
out
series is
Cinderella
it's
Grey.
Pretty
And they're like,
Derby.
Ogre Cap.
So-
And you're like, what the fuck? What?
You weren't here when the 3 of us watched this episode together, and I went, what? When they revealed her name, because I was full expecting her name to just be Cinderella Grey.
No, it's
'Cause it is a
Cinderella
horse name,
story, and her
yes.
hair is gray.
Sure.
She should be Cinderella Grey.
What?
I'm just gonna
Would
say-
you,
Sorry, Michael. go
Prove it
ahead.
to me.
I had to-
anyway, what? She's poor. That's like the basis
Same.
of every Cinderella story. You gotta be poor first. Anyway, so Oguri Cap, she is our protagonist. We are following her in the illustrious something school. I don't remember the name of the school. Whatever, it's an academy, something.
Yes. Kasamatsu.
Kasamatsu.
Horse
That's
race
close.
school.
Yeah, whatever. And her soon to meet best friend Berno Light. It's very funny. You get these 2 introduced. You go, okay, yes, you have Ogre Cap the racer, and then Berno, who is
I thought you were gonna say
the manager-
racist.
Why would I say that?
It was close.
Sean.
I have
please.
bad hearing.
And we also get to meet her rival Fujimasa March. She's the she was the like ace people expected to see come out of this class. Well, you got these 2 top ones. You got Oguri, you got March. And the first 3 episodes, most of that focuses on you get Oguri, you get to meet her. You get to learn kind of her dick as a racer, which is she has a really flexible knees. Like, you may think you understand how flexible they are. You don't understand how flexible these fucking knees are. She be doing some goofy ass shit with her knees.
Cowboy shit with knees.
Yeah. And you may be going, oh, that's just like a thing she was born with. Nah. She actually
Well-
was born with fucking knees that didn't fucking work. And then her mom was like, so if I massage your legs every day for 17
walk.
years, your knees are going to be the craziest things to ever exist. And we're like, damn, that's so crazy. And a big part of the essentially major plot thread of these first 3 episodes, episode like 2 or whatever, maybe it's episode 1. She gets found by the scouter Joe Kitahara or Kitahara Joe, the silliest guy ever.
It feels wrong not to call him Kitahara Joe.
Kitahara Joe.
Regardless of how we would say it.
Or we just call him Joe. We got Joe. He's the manager. He's kind of like the scout who's like, hey, you should race for me. I'll like give you money and shit. She's like, bet. I need a manager to race. Sure, I need literally anyone. And we're also introduced to our the three shitheads. I guess you could define them as, or the 2 shitheads and the other one. You have Minnie the lady, Rudy Lemon, and Norn Ace. Minnie the lady's the fucking worst. Oh my god, I hate her. Anyway, these are kind of your 3. They are quite literally the 3 like girls and Mean Girls essentially. That's just them. They're just assholes. They're like, nah, you aren't allowed to exist. And also there's like a big race she has against March. I don't want to go directly into what each episode does because there's though not a ton happens. There is like 3 pretty big races that happen. Ogre Cap has this like gimmick she does with like specifically the ground there. Uses her feet as giant fucking scoops and like curls her toes down and fucking kicks back, like pounds the sand, leaving fucking craters in the ground because she's ridiculous.
So the reason why she's so good at horse girl racing is because she runs like a horse.
Yeah.
That's the bit. Everyone else runs like a girl. She runs like a horse.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she just gets very low center of gravity, very high low back angle. She zooms.
Ogre Cap is our silly protagonist. Known for about 3 things: being poor, really liking to eat, and having flexible knees, and also being
head empty.
Yes, I was gonna say, is it just because she's poor that she's also like?
No, that is how that works.
I think she's just a dumbass. But yeah, we love her so much. She's just so silly. 10 out of 10. She's introduced like episode of 1. She's like, she's supposed to be rooming with Norn Ace, and Norn Ace is like, sorry, I have too many boxes in my room, in the room right now. You can go sleep in the storage closet. She goes, wait, I have a place to sleep? Fucking bet! Yes, sir!
I'm still trying to figure this out because every time they show these flashbacks, she is in like an apartment. So like, I don't know, but
that's like a 1-bedroom apartment for 2 people, which it isn't a lot of space.
I don't have a particularly good reason why I really like this show, besides the fact that it's a sports show and it does it well, and I just enjoy it.
It's a fun time.
This is one of the few
good sports anime.
This is one of the few shows this season where I'm gonna say it looks really pretty, and that matters. Because like here, I'll get into this now, I guess. This season in particular, I'm kind of not caring about just how good animation looks. I'm kind of trying to care more about how much I personally am just enjoying the content. And so while stuff like Witch Watch and Vigilantes looks really good, like I won't deny how fucking good either of those look, I just enjoyed other stuff more than them for the first 3 episodes, which is why they're lower.
That's fair.
This show both looks fucking good and matters because it's a sports show and it fucking rules.
Why does this shit look so good, bro? I hate it.
It's
called being a
gotcha game.
The games make so much money off of this gotcha game, probably.
Also, like,
crazy we still don't have it in America.
Just a reminder, it is originally an idol anime, and those just make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah,
always.
We do have one idol performance.
We do get an idol performance because as a major part of the Umamusume system, is that upon winning a race, the racer gets to put on a performance. And in episode 3, we get to see Ogre Cap do a performance, and it's like the exact thing like every type of show does with like country bumpkins, which is that they do some like traditional festival dance. And it's always hilarious. I love these moments so much. So silly.
I trust Michael on
And she
this.
kills it.
I trust Michael on this because I don't know what he's talking about, but I believe he's
I have no clue
experienced it
what you're talking about,
enough
but
that
sounds
that
right.
he's right. That this is a
I
real
don't know.
trope that he's not making up.
I feel like this is not the first time I've seen this, where characters just do like a festival dance as their thing they have to do as a dance.
I guess you of all of us watch the most Idol stuff.
Thunder than Idol, it's like a thing in like just shows.
What? Name me one. I believe you, but name me another one.
So I'm trying to think. There's like multiple karaoke scenes where a character just sings like a traditional like
Okay.
harvest festival song.
Okay. I feel like
I guess a lot of times it's also like children songs. They watch
Yes,
like a child,
that's
which
more-
Is like, it's the same vein of thing.
yeah. Okay, I'll give you that because that is more what I went to when that happened. Was the singing like a childhood TV show.
But yeah,
Occasionally, Discord's just gonna die. I'm just gonna have
Damn.
to deal with that, but it's fine. It's not in
Rest
any
in
way that
peace.
it's not in any way that matters. It's fine. We're doing okay.
it's hard to explain. Like I enjoy about the show. I think our cast is just super fun. I like the fact that we've already had like the turnaround with the three assholes. Also I really like the fact that one of the like Rudy the whole time was kind of like, you guys are being the worst actually. Maybe you should
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Minnie's like, I untied her shoe before the race, and Rudy goes, "What? Why?
Why?
That's crazy to do."
And then they still got their asses beat. They still got cooked.
So, like, I think one of the things this show does well, as well, is we still haven't seen Oguri actually do a race without getting messed with yet. So we haven't seen how fast she actually is, which makes us want to see more. Which is
Yeah,
just neat.
we're about to get it. It's this race.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the actual idol performance we get in these coming episodes. Because if you end episode 3 with Norn going, okay, you're a fucking embarrassment. I'm gonna teach you how to actually dance.
But not because I like you, Uwu.
Yeah, definitely not. And they were roommates.
Ooh.
A scene that I really love from these first 3 episodes. I want to say it's in episode 3. Because that's where that race happens, but maybe it's the end of 2. I think it's in 3. Oguri puts on the hairband her mom gave her specifically while she's done her entrance, so that the radio announcer will comment about it, so that her mom hears it and knows she's wearing it, which is the most adorable fucking thing on the planet, and I love it. And it's a very small like detail that, like, while the show does point out, they're like, why would she be putting it on? And they show her mom hearing it, like, you can miss that. Like, you can miss the fact that she is doing that intentionally. So yes, she's a head empty dumbass, but boy is she or head empty dumbass, and I love her. Adorable.
No, show is good. It's very. It does the sports aspect good. It does the characters good so far. And I mean, like I said, we'll see.
Show's just peak. It's just really good sports show. I enjoy it.
I have to find the next show on. There it is. So I have names up. So let's move on. Next up is Your Forma, which you can watch on Samsung Smart TV. Good luck. Have fun. Or if
Funnily
you're
enough, I think I actually could have watched it through that.
Or if you're not in
Yes,
America, it's on the most based YouTube channel of all time, where you can also watch Cinderella Grey. It's anime.
We love it's anime powered by whatever.
So Your Forma follows a cybercrime detective, Ichika, and her Animus, and I need to make sure I get it right.
Amix. It's amicus is how they spell it.
Yeah.
They pronounce it amix.
But Bray needs to get the right terminology because it's important. Cyborgs. They are cyborgs. right?
Androids.
Androids. God damn you, Dragon Ball Z, for getting it wrong and thus making
'cause
me get it wrong.
Again, that is the bit
Yes,
that Dragon Ball Z
they-
does
they
get
get
them
it wrong.
backwards.
Androids.
Cyborgs are part human.
Yeah, so the
Androids are not.
the Amanuenses are androids that are created by mankind. I do not think they tell us why. So unless you've read the synopsis, I don't think the show tells us why they exist.
No, they're just robots to be robots. What do you mean? That's why robots exist.
Yep. But
Smile.
we find so there.
Wait,
so,
there's a reason?
yes. Do you want me to read the synopsis?
I mean, I don't know yet, so.
In an alternative 2023, the Your Forma, it's a real thing that they haven't mentioned, I think, yet either. A miraculous smart thread, which we see, technology initially developed to treat a massive outbreak of a medical term I don't know. Hey, John.
Hey, yes.
I'm sending this in the group chat, and you can tell me what it is. You know what that is?
Encephalitis, yeah.
What is that?
It's like brain swelling, I think, basically.
That makes sense, actually. That does check out. And then eventually becomes an integral part of daily life. We do see the actual thread part of the Your Forma a lot. Basically everybody has like AR goggles that do everything, and like taps into this neural network. But we follow Ichika, and her cyber assistant in the crime department, Harold. We open up with just them kind of dropped into finishing a case, and these 3 episodes follow. Harold is a particular type of amicus, a very recent model, that there are, to our knowledge, as we are introduced, only 3 of. So they're essentially a set of 3 brothers.
But there were 4.
No. Really?
Because off name, I remember Harold and Marvin. I don't remember.
The other one's the one that we know is Steven, and he's the one who's committed crimes. Essentially, before these 3 episodes, we find out, because they talk about it, one of these have gone rogue and has killed a person. If you know anything about androids, they're not supposed to do that. There are 3 laws of robotics for a reason that stops them from doing this.
Yeah, bro, I watched that robot.
Will you be reminded that there are 3 laws of robotics?
Every episode, you will be reminded that there are 3 laws of robotics that they must follow.
I mean, bro, I've already seen this movie / show / everything.
Yes. But they are investigating a new string of murders that they believe must be happening by one of these models, and so thus Harold comes under suspicion.
We're back.
Ichika works to try to get him. Basically, the cyber committee is like, you have to destroy him. You have to put him out of commission. He's too dangerous. We don't have proof yet that he's the murderer, but he probably is. And she's like, that seems a little far-fetched here. And we get introduced to a couple of characters. The lead scientist behind creating this particular model, Lexi. And we wind up kind of tracing down that the person who is doing this must be an alumni from the same school. And Ichika gets kidnapped, and then saved by Harold and the cops. And we are introduced to Aiden Furman, who is our culprit for this case, who has been disguising himself as one of these models to do for some reason that we have not been revealed to yet. Most likely it is because he's trying to put the blame on the actual... Well, he's trying to reveal that Lexi had done something when making these models that allows them to basically have learning AI that allows them to become more human and potentially allow them to go off code and cause harm. There's a lot that happens in these 3 episodes. Most importantly is that Harold and Ichika may be very horny for each other, just a couple of times. And that seems to be the theme of my 3 shows this season. It's that everybody's horny. So here's the thing. When it comes to Your Forma, this is exactly my type of show. We've had a show very similar to this on the podcast before. in Invaded. But while it was not my show, I very much wanted it to be my show. I think the brain dive stuff is really cool. We've gotten it twice in the 3 episodes. I think the structure of the mystery and the case is very interesting. I think it's hard to judge the mystery fully yet in my mind of whether I think it is a really good mystery until I know exactly what all the conclusions are. Part of the thing that I think makes it an odd mystery is that Harold pieces a lot of things together, and since we're following Ichika, you don't get to know them all the time. I am very interested to see what this last episode resolves. The OST in this show fucking slaps. Episode 3 in particular, as she is going into the academy to catch up to Aiden, who has kidnapped Harold at this point. The OST is fucking insane for that scene, and I love it. The other important thing about why I forgot this. Ichika is working with Harold in particular because to do these brain dives, she fucking fries her partners most times, who are actual humans. So she needs to be working with an android, and he's like the only one that's worked so far. I think this show's really cool. I really enjoyed it for the 3 episodes I had with it so far.
I think the show is neat. I just don't care yet, I think is the best way to explain it. I haven't gotten... Because it plops us right in the middle of everything, you're kind of just going, hey, here's Yetta, here's Harold, mystery. And I'm like, hold up. Give me like 30 seconds to figure out what's happening. And they're like, no, car crash. And I'm like, hold up.
It also just like throws a bunch of weird terminology at you and just kind of goes, which, to be fair, a lot of science fiction does that, but it still makes it jarring and feels like I can't catch up.
Mm-hmm. It feels like it's also like a formula that we've seen a lot before, right? Where it's like robots are supposed to not kill people, robots are killing people, big problem. That's kind of running into that cycle.
Why robot killing people?
The deep dive thing is interesting. I agree, and like that's the part where it's like, okay, you're kind of pulling me in, but still, like even when she's doing those dives, they feel pretty like all over the place, right? Where it's like, is she like having an internal like dive here, or is she actually trying to find something with this person?
I think it winds up doing both because you connect, right? Because she connects, you get bits of both.
Again, I that is like the idea of them, and I think if we start like, I think when we get more, I think I will start liking the show more. But like, this show was just like a whole lot, and I was just like, that's crazy. Like I don't know.
So John, you're the only person who doesn't know this because I alluded to this, or maybe you were here when I alluded to it the first time. I don't remember. While I was trying to figure out where your FORMA is streaming, I was, I guess, spoiled on something, which is I know that this show has made a choice, that people have said that is a choice to make. And I particularly have told Michael and Mason, I will not say what it is unless you guys want me to tell you what that choice was, in relation to making this anime. I personally, I don't think it changes my personal thoughts on it knowing it. It just makes some things make tiny bit more sense about why certain stuff happens the way it does in the anime.
That I noticed that was a certain choice the show made, but like I said, we'll see, because it's a lot about like a lot of parts are moving behind the scene that we just aren't aware of, which is the part that's kind of like weird to me, I guess. Where it's like we just don't have all the information that the show's obviously, and that's the point of like the mystery, right? But you know, we'll see kind of where that takes us going forward, and if it's a good plot point or not, because I don't think it's going off of this week specifically, but like you guys were saying, like it just hasn't like quite like grabbed me like I would like it to. And when I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh, this is just, you know, Detroit Become Human / iRobot,
yeah,
all over again with a slightly different way of uncovering the truth than like actual detective work, right?
Detroit Become Human, but we put it with AI.
Detroit Become Human, but we put it with the Matrix and we hack into the mainframe. or the brain frame, I guess in this case. But
You have to sync with him.
you must think.
I will say,
But-
I really do, however, like Harold and Ichika's interactions. I think they're very good.
Oh yeah.
I like having
Uh,
two
I don't
dinguses.
trust that robot.
No, not at all. But like,
I don't trust
I
any
don't trust him
robot.
in
It's
any
just
way,
because he.
but,
It's
like,
just because he
also,
was made to
I
be
do-
pretty. Calm down. There's
Correct.
nothing else going on here.
Wait, I think that it just was one of those things when I was putting together my thing. I was like, the show was really cool, but yeah, other things just had my attention more. I'm more interested in where they're going.
That's
so I
fair.
was just kind of
Yeah.
thrown for a fucking loop with this shit. I was
It was really neat. It's just we have so many absolute bangers this season. So,
Mhm.
and this one is just fine and has the potential to be really good, but for now is just fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Mason,
All right, so Vigilantes time.
it is Vigilantes time.
originally.
So, My Hero Academia Vigilantes takes place in the same world as My Hero, but it is not at the academy and doesn't follow teenagers. It follows, well, one teenager and then two adults. We
She might
follow
be a teenager.
No, he's college.
has a school
no.
uniform.
Yeah, he might be 19.
I mean, okay, technically, but he's.
I mean, yeah.
But- So we follow our main character, Koichi, who starts off the show as Mr. Nice Guy, the hero Mr. Nice Guy. He has the quirk of if he puts 3 points of contact on any surface, he can slide along it. He
Slide.
is going around his neighborhood trying to just be a nice guy, help out, do what he can to serve his community, and he gets I believe he gets attempted mugged by some gang members in his neighborhood, and he is saved by a man named Knuckle Duster, who's just Batman.
He's just a dude.
He's just Batman. That's all he is. Who proceeds to beat the shit out of these guys and go, "Hey kid, you tried your best. You're going to be a hero with me because you're doing what's right." We also get our third character to join this group of vigilantes named Popstep, who has the quirk of she can bounce. She's an idol. And she does all of her concerts on like streetlight poles and things like that. It's really fun and neat. What Knuckle Duster's been investigating, which is there is a drug going around that essentially amplifies your quirk if you have one, and makes it go out of control. And it's just them trying to track down where this drug is coming from and trying to stop it at source. Also, in this time, Koichi changes his name from Mr. Nice Guy to the Crawler.
The Crawler.
Koichi's-
Crawler.
It's the Crawler. This show is just a lot of fun. It's very fun, like being in the My Hero world, but with much more low to the ground stakes and like low to the ground powers.
For now.
For now, it leads to a much more like character driven story. That's just a lot of fun. I love these characters so much. Popstep's great. Knuckle Duster is just Batman, so he's cool. And Koichi is the most Peter Parker coded character I've ever seen. Writing for Spider-Man. So
That's actually
Great.
great.
yeah, they wrote Superior Spider-Man, I believe.
Mhm.
Correct.
Thank you. I
Fact checker in the back.
here are some things that I really
I
want to
said thank you.
Here's some things that I really want to give Vigilantes props for. The comic aesthetic goes hard and it rules. Like the comic
It's so
backgrounds,
good.
the
I feel
comic
like it's
sound
really
effects.
good most of the time.
I love it. You're not gonna
I'll
convince me
get
there are
to it.
times
I'll
where
get
it's
to it.
bad. I'm
Like-
interested to hear it. I'm interested to hear it.
Yeah.
I think it's sick. I really like it. I think it it almost to me, and this may be because me trying to get into My Hero, to me my personal issue was I felt like I was actually too old to get into My Hero to like really enjoy the main cast right away and be down for like the premise of the story where it starts. Vigilantes I think does a really good job of like perhaps targeting a little bit older of a demographic just barely, and the comic aesthetic I think really helps with it. It helps that I also think that our main character here is much more suited for like a slightly older age demographic. He's just a guy who's just trying to make do, you know?
He's just trying to go to college.
He's just trying to do
He's
his
just trying
best.
to exist. Why are you in my apartment?
Trying to do the right thing, help where he can, and just get through life.
Yeah, live in his apartment that's just some random shack on the top of this one random building that he gets to by sliding up the walls.
The rent must be killer on that.
Probably.
Honestly, yeah.
He might not even be paying it if we're being real. He might have just found it and took it. I will say, in the first 3 episodes, episode 1's major drawback to me was Pop Step. Because episode 1 is the most fan service we've gotten out of her, and I'm not a fan of it. Her being the youngest of the entire cast to get it with, of course. She's the idol character. It makes sense. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I will give the show credit in relation to episode 3. You threw a slimy shark monster down, and that didn't go as bad as I feared it was gonna go for the character.
Yeah.
So you know what? Holy shit, show! Props to you. You managed to avert absolute catastrophe. And instead you just kind of captured a very awkward handshake event through it. Which, you know what? Nice. Glad you could do it. I am interested with the story. I am not super in because I think still in the same vein for My Hero for me, like I'm not super invested and sold wholly on everything going on. I also think that Knuckle Duster is a pretty by the book character. So like I am not super big on him yet. I do like what we've gotten with Pop since her introduction in episode 1. I've really enjoyed her basically every time she's been on screen otherwise. The bros they recruit who are just a part of her fans are rad. They're sick.
Oh, you mean Wolverine and Cyclops?
Yeah, they're cool. They're rad.
No,
They're
what are
great.
you talking about? Don't you mean
Dumb and
Josuke
Dumber?
and Jotaro?
They're wonderful. They're great. They're
Look,
everything.
they're Josuke and Jotaro, but with Wolverine and Cyclops.
I know.
Oh,
It's,
Dumb and
it's
Dumber.
such a it's my
such a good
favorite
bit.
bit is that they are intentionally 2 separate references.
They're probably
Yes.
more
It's
than
fucking
that.
P-
They're probably like 7, and we just don't know it.
And he also has the Jotaro hat hair.
Yeah.
Like his hair is just part hat.
Yeah, but I think for me, despite liking Vigilantes while watching it, I think for me the holdback is that like, it is still just the superhero story. Just from the Vigilante side of it, which is still just a superhero story, you just aren't licensed, you know? I'm excited to get more of the world and the conflict, and I think that will maybe get me more invested. It doesn't necessarily help this show that there's another also rad superhero show on the podcast also picked by Mason. Whoops.
Look, I had to hedge my bets.
Okay, but like superheroes are all. See, I already read, so like
Yes.
I'm already in on it. I'm already in on the story. I was already in on the story. This adaptation's fucking rad. Again, visually, I think the show is fucking astounding. I love the aesthetic they went with. The like comic book pop-ups constantly. I love these 3 so much. Yes, Knuckle Duster is kind of a by the books old guy, tired of the hero system failing. but also he's awesome, so I don't care.
And I also
love him.
I also guess if you're coming from My Hero, he is probably a very refreshing new kind of character.
Yes.
Oh
my
because
God,
you
is
do
that one of
not
the really
you do
big
not get
things.
anything like this in My Hero.
Yeah.
No.
The closest thing to him is fucking Deku at the beginning of the story, because he doesn't have quirk.
I do like that even from someone who has limited My Hero experience. You get I should fucking know his actual name.
Aizawa.
You get Aizawa,
Aizawa.
thank you. And you get Aizawa, and like, if you somehow didn't know, because without prior knowledge, I still looked at Knuckle Duster and went, he's not using a quirk, he's just beating people up. It's so obvious. But
Yeah.
I like the idea, from if you are a My Hero fan, of bringing Aizawa in to do that reveal. That's really cool. That is sick.
Also, Aizawa
Also-
is like one of the best My Hero characters. So he's
Yes.
so good to have here, because I love him. He's
just
like he's such a
cool.
good mentor in that, and the role he plays in this works so well. I love him. I love him so much.
John, tell me about this comic book thing.
So I
I'm
really like the
interested.
aesthetic. However, sometimes it does feel a little bit like ham-fisted in, and then it's just kind of like screen, right? Picture,
Yeah.
picture, as opposed to like animation. And I agree. I do like it. It's just sometimes it feels a little bit. I don't want to say lazy because I know that's what they're going for aesthetically, but it just feels a little bit like misput, I guess. is
You
how
would
I
rather have the
describe it.
animation for the scene.
Well, yes and no, because it's the timing for me. Because sometimes they'll have an animation and then they'll just like slap the comic book thing in the middle of it and then go back to like the animation, or vice versa, right? Where it's like I feel like it'd be better if like consistency you had like one versus the other for the certain engagements. But overall, like I said, this I mean it's in my top 3 because I thought it was really good. Starting out, the problem is there's another superhero show that's just different right now, and like that's where like it loses some points, but like it's really good. I also love the characters. Pop Step is wonderful. Our main boy, I love him so much, even though he's just like trying to exist. And we'll see how this kind of, like, we have a lot of like almost detective-y shows this season. It feels like,
Yeah.
you know, that's like, ooh, we gotta solve the mystery, or find the guy, or find the thing. Also, I fucking hate this new villain they're introducing. I fucking
Bees?
hate her power, or
You don't like
whatever that
Queen?
is. I don't like
So
this.
good.
I did not like the bee crawling into her eye
It's so
socket.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
hate
fan.
it.
Not a fan. I hate that. Bugs in general, not a fan.
This is rad.
Fucking hate that shit.
She's rad.
It's
I
like-
will give you that.
Make him the villain.
And it does beg the question. My early thought, and I know this is probably getting into spoilers and stuff, and I'm probably reading too much into it, but is it like her that has the bee power, or is it the bee that has the her power thing? You know, like is it
Who is to
is
say?
is it her controlling the bees, or the bees controlling random girl? I don't know. I don't like the bees. I don't like the bees. I hate bees in general.
Not the bees.
I got stung by them as a kid. The only nightmare I remember from being a kid is like I remember being like 4 or 5, and like this is a nightmare I've had, and I remember it's the only one I can recall is like, you know, those like penny horses that you ride on,
Mhm.
right? At like Meyer and stuff. Like it was just like riding one of those and then just bees coming out. It was just
Crazy.
Dude, kids' nightmares are scary, bro.
Um,
So I hate bees. So I don't like her.
I
Even
would
if she is Pop Step's #1 fan.
I have a general question for you. You've all read My Hero, right?
Most
The
of
base,
it.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah. Why are there just dudes fucking around in the city? Who does petty crime in this universe? What could you possibly have to gain?
people who live in the middle of bumfuck, where it's a little hard to get a hero out there.
All Might's fucking walking this street in this city. Why the fuck would you pickpocket somebody?
Well,
That
That is
is
not
like-
city. He's everywhere, bro.
That's true, but that is
Yeah.
like, but exactly
He's,
that
like,
to me coming into this, I'm like, you gotta you have quirks, you gotta know better, and you know your quirks aren't up to snuff to actually be able to just bully some people on the side.
Why do you think there's so little crime overall, that like petty thievery is the only thing you're like, okay, maybe I can get away with this because they're too busy with the other stuff, you know?
Yeah, the idea
Yeah.
is
It
you
feels-
do
This is
it,
still
and
full
you
power
get
All
away
Might,
with
too.
it before they can even get a hero to you.
And I
Which is-
get that it
getting
does.
someone there does
Yeah,
take a
and I
lot.
get
But
that
I will
it does
agree,
build
Sean.
into the vigilante thing, right? Because that's the whole reason Knuckle Duster is doing this, because he says they're too busy with other
We gotta
shit.
look out for the little guys.
Yeah.
But I do agree, Sean, that it's like, man, full power All Might is out there somewhere. Do you really want to gamble for that $30 from this lady's purse? Like that All Might just comes in and smacks the shit out of you, and then you also go to jail? Like that sounds awful.
I also do think it's a little weird, and I guess this does say something about
Uh-oh.
it. It is a society commentary. We good?
Yeah, you're good.
We're okay.
You were just bugging out for a minute.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know it's a society comment about like how the general population views quirks, but it is crazy to me to see Koichi's quirk and people to look at it and go, oh, "That's cool," and then watch him and go, "Wow, he's fucking lame," and I go, "No, that's still really neat." Like, I get that people fly, right? So I understand, and I get that people are there are people who are really fast, but like, the glide thing's cool. I will give it to him.
It's a neat quirk, and
You
it's
could-
useful.
You could not
I
have a
fucking love
quirk.
slide and glide. It's such a fucking cool quirk. Because my favorite thing about my hero with the quirk system is that you often go, so this is what a quirk does, and then you go, okay, but why does it do that? And then once you start developing the why, you start going, kid, why didn't you do it this way? Or this way?
Yeah.
Like, Bakugo's quirk in Base My Hero it's introduced as he can make explosion. But no, it's actually his sweat is just fucking nitroglycerin. Which is a nonsense thing they do nonsense things with very quickly.
No, I'm interested to see where this goes. It's also first week, so nothing matters. Besides not being
True.
the bottom show.
Except ZatsuTabi being bad.
True.
But we're not there yet. Instead, John, Witch Watch.
Which watch? So this is the kind of no thought head empty shit I thought I was gonna get into when I picked this shit, and boy was I fucking right. So Witch Watch focuses on our main character Nico, and she is a witch who is returning to live with her childhood friend, Otogi or Morihito, who is basically like born in to serve and protect these witches because he is like part ogre lineage. So he has broken ass ogre strength, and she is witch. And he's just got to keep an eye on her because apparently some spooky, scary, bad prophecy is gonna happen. Like, and time and stuff. But while she is a witch, she is kind of stoopy. By kind of stupid, I mean really stoopy. But it's very cute though. Which you got to think about as well. Like she comes in and crashes through his window and goes, "Hey, great, you broke the fucking door." She's like, "Come on, I got this. Magic. Bring me something you really care about." He's like, "Here's like my cherished, like I forget what he says. Like
Mug.
it's like my cherished baseball, a cherished mug that I drink every day." She's like, "Perfect. Reparo," and the window repairs and the mug shatters. He's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Well, I mean, law of equivalent exchange, motherfucker."
Your window
And then
is
she
fixed.
does a spell where she turns herself paper thin and then flies through the window, gets stuck in a crack. So he just like breaks through a wall to get her out. I think in one of the episodes, they go to school and she's trying to. He's like, "Don't show them that you're a witch. That's not a good idea. It's bad to stand out." So what does she do? Immediately stands out, reveals that she's a witch. To which her class totally for it. She creates a zone of zero gravity. Everyone's like flying around, and it's cool. And then this truck gets into the zone because it's not fucking paying attention to the magical circle. And just drives right into it. And Morihito has to show off his ogre strength by saving the truck driver and catching the truck. To which he's like, "Oh shit, everyone's gonna hate me, and I'm gonna get discriminated against." They went, "Yo, that was sick, that's awesome, yeah, the best." And then I think the third episode they go shopping, where they help save somebody from a building. This one also had the no, episode 3 had the stupid minis. That's what it
Yes.
was. Where she's like, "Oh, I can help you move in your stuff, but it's really heavy. I can't do it myself, so I'll split myself in 2, and they get smaller. The problem is it doesn't increase your strength. It just makes 2 of you. And so problem solved. It's still really heavy. We'll do it again." And so then there's
No,
4
there's
little
4 of
idiots
them.
trying to move the boxes. And while it is adorable, they are equally stupid.
1, 2,
Um,
beep beep. 1, 2, beep beep.
So cute. And then lastly, we encounter this other character who's this blonde-haired boy, who is I forget. Like, there's also like a dog
He's a
involved in
dog.
like the.
He's a dog.
He is a dog. Is that what it is?
Probably.
Well, no, he's a Tengu.
Close
You are
enough.
told he's a Tengu.
Close
Okay.
enough to being a dog.
Do not believe
But-
Tengus are dogs.
But the prophecy
There
does say
is-
that dogs and raindrops will bring disaster. So obviously, this is setting off a warning bell for.
I do believe there is
Mojito.
a character that is very much more defined as dog
Yes, no, it's fine. I know.
than
I'm,
the fucking Tengu.
I'm fucking with you, Michael.
But yes, basically, you have these two main characters who clearly are slightly crushing on each other still as childhood friend characters, and we're starting to introduce more of the main cast. There is not a goddamn thought that goes on into this girl's head, and I do not envy Morihito's position to try to fucking deal with her. But good luck, my guy.
I can't believe this is running in Shonen Jump with all the other things that are similar to it. They've all come afterwards, which I guess makes more sense.
That's the thing. This was the start.
Cause like, Ichi the Witch, not Ichi the Witch. Shinobi exists. Kill Blue exists. There's a lot of things that are very Dragon has some similarities to this. Wild.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good though.
I think it's cute. I enjoy it.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
The only gripe I will levy at it is fucking tell her about the goddamn prophecy.
No.
Oh,
no,
that's gonna.
fine.
Oh,
No,
dude,
she's
it's gonna.
not allowed to know about the prophecy.
No, she is precious being who must be protected, Sean. So you're missing the point.
No, I understand. And you have to understand that this exact premise is the kind of thing that irritates me immensely in these kind of shows. In
I'm with you.
Shinobi, the benefit is that everybody is lying to her.
Yeah.
Like society is fake around her.
Yeah.
And that is obviously going to blow up and have major repercussions at some point. Like, it is easier to buy. You are part of a ninja world that has to hide the fact that you are protecting a target than it is to go, we just don't want to tell the witch that she might die because of a prophecy that's going to put her in danger. Hey, just fine. All of your problems, my man, will be solved if you just tell her that you're going to be watching her very closely because you're worried about her safety. But it's fine because we need the gags that are going to come from it, and they're going to be good. I do want to say, John, you threw shade on that truck driver for not noticing the magical anti-gravity field. You know what? That doesn't happen that often. I will cut him some slack.
I don't think it's on him. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they should have like clearly marked that out with cones or something ahead of time. That's kind of on them.
They
But
did.
like, also, why is that
But-
truck going around this backside of the building this way? There's got to be a better.
He
path for
probably
him.
goes that way every day. He's probably on
Mike-
fucking autopilot and just went, oh fuck.
So
Oh, I'm flying.
my question is, why did we do this like not in the center of the gym field
Yeah,
or
just-
like the soccer field? Like we're on the track. Why?
Well, what the soccer team needs
Because
to practice, Mason. You think about that?
everybody's dumb.
I just also love like you have the other kids in their school like doing this like thing that they said was too childish and going like, how come their class gets to fly? This is bullshit.
It's so good.
They're playing Fruits Basket in there.
Teacher,
Like,
class 2 is
it's
flying again.
Why does class 2 get to fly and we don't?
Why are we
What the
playing
fuck do you
Fruits
mean that? What
Basket?
the fuck? They're flying.
God,
I think the spells and the drawbacks to the spells are really cool. I think it's really
it's very
neat.
well thought out. Yes.
This show.
The part where they're made super lightweight and like cheery and heavy,
Super
and they
light,
get really
such a
dark and
good
heavy
smell.
afterward. Maybe we just call it here. Maybe we just end it all, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's too much. Like, oh,
I will
it's so
say
fucking
Super
funny.
light, great spell.
the thing for me about this show is like there is while we have this prophecy, there is also currently no fucking stakes to this show. Like
No.
which
It's
is
not
fine.
trying to have stakes.
Exactly. Like it's fine, but it makes me not
I mean, there is stakes.
it makes
just, you
certain
know.
shows for me be above it because I'm invested in the stakes we have that are active in the moment. Yeah, again, this is just like I enjoyed this. But perhaps this is not my preferred cup of tea in what I want to enjoy right now. It's good. It is really good. What the fuck is episode 3's opening?
Oh, it's just the one, but like
it's all
storyboards.
It's all the storyboards. It's so
I don't know
cool.
why, but like it's there. It doesn't really
I
make
fucking
sense
love
in the
those
context.
I think it's so sick that they did that and they did the storyboard.
It
artwork
is
and things like
really
that. I was hopping
cool.
off.
It is really
really
cool,
sick.
but it does make you go.
It makes sense,
why?
and like it like there's no like reason for episode 3 to get that. Like I think there might be some gags later that could fit better with that being the thing they do.
They're just they're gonna do some dumb shit throughout the entire season, and they're just starting to show off now. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Witch Watch, very fun show. I love these two immensely. They're two little fucking goobers. We're introduced to the Tengu, Kuda or whatever the fuck his name is at the end of episode 3. He's gonna join the gang. It's a spoiler. Yeah, he's part of the gang now. And we got 3 members in the fuck mask.
You're gonna tell me a cat girl's gonna come
Slowly
next?
grow and become just a. What? No, that could never happen. You can never the cat girl that I thought was going to be voiced by Lily Pichu, only to learn that the protagonist is voiced by Lily Pichu. I
have to express I cannot imagine. This is I have no issue with Lily Pichu. I actually don't find her voice that grating. I cannot imagine this character with her voice constantly.
Yeah, it in my brain, Nico doesn't. I think she would work as the character who will be the cat girl that we will meet. I don't think she works as Nico. Again, like, I think she does a good job as the role. I just don't think she quite fits the role. Like, voice my brain internally. But yeah, I think my biggest gripe with this show, which is not even like that big of a gripe, is that I don't particularly care. Not that it's even like a subplot in the sense of one, but like Nico constantly being like, "Ooh, Moi's so cute. I wonder if he thinks I'm cute." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." just be two little dumbasses. Stop it.
You're like no. Both of you should not know that you're in love. Stop. No, none of this. You're too in tune with your emotions, Nico. Get out of here.
Like, I just don't particularly care about the romance stuff. I like just the two of them doing dumb gags significantly more. Okay, there is a gag that will come up at some point this season, and God, am I looking so forward to it.
I will say, only gag I didn't particularly care for was the clothes gag. It's nowhere near as bad as other things, but I also just don't particularly care for it.
Yeah.
I also didn't particularly care for the bullies in episode 1. I think that part of like the humor around them didn't really hit me. That is the other thing, is that this show is also certainly a comedy at times, and we all know how I feel about those.
Yeah, I would say at its heart, Witch Watch is a comedy that just follows some fucking dinguses doing some dingus. Again, thing I do like that we got with the bullies though, is a thing that will become a recurring bit, which is if she's used a spell before, that is in the repertoire of things they will just randomly pull out for jokes.
Which is neat.
They just randomly have her use his hair, and it's a good ass bit when they do it. It's like, oh yeah, she could do that. She could just take something someone cares about, repair something else. His hair is gone.
I will give Witch Watch credit in that its magic system, without explaining it, feels very obvious and feels very intuitive. I like it in that regard. It's clearly thought out and has parameters that didn't need to be explained, because you will just learn it through watching, and I like that.
And it's a simple enough system that, like, yeah, they're probably not going to do magic-based combat with it, because that would be ridiculous and stupid, and these spells are dumb.
I don't believe you.
See, I'm not saying there won't be combat, but I don't believe it's generally spell-based combat. Yes, Morihito will beat the fuck out of people, probably, but...
No, spell tournament inbound.
You better not do some nonsense.
True.
Michael.
Mono.
So, before you start, Michael, did anybody know the thing about this show before episode 3?
What do
you guys know what thing we're talking about?
Do you two not know from episode 3?
Maybe if you say it.
Do you know who the author of this manga is?
No, I don't look that deep into it, bro.
They're the Eurocamp author.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right, yeah.
The original, the manga for Mono was written by the same mangaka
It's
who made
Afro.
Yuru Camp. Yeah, made very clear in episode 3, where they see all 4 of the Yuru Camp pro tags just walking around Japan.
And they riff
Okay.
on Yuru Camp because that is why they're traveling.
Episode 3, they quite literally just go, "Hey, we're gonna go visit all the places from this camping anime. We're not gonna name it, but it's Yuru Camp."
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. This is
God damn
It
it.
literally is just a Yuru Camp reference for an entire episode.
Fun fact.
Does that mean that this author is just writing a story about her writing Eurocamp with the other
Yes.
character that's writing a manga?
It's so
Yes.
peak.
Yes.
It's so
Which again, I will
so
give.
good.
I'm gonna give this. This is really close to ZatsuTabi on my PR, only because of how I feel about this genre as a whole. I'll talk about that in extensive details once Michael actually gets to talk about the show, and I let him. But I cannot express to you how vastly different I feel about this and ZatsuTabi. Go ahead, Michael.
So, Mono follows a girl in the her school's photography club. She joins because she thinks the president of the club, when she joins, is cute, hot, maybe. Yeah, she's gay. The only thing she does in this club is take pictures of the president taking pictures. And then also her friend joins. This will be important later. It's a mystery tool that'll help us
You mean
later.
a friend who takes pictures of her taking pictures?
No,
of
no,
you?
we had to get to that. They hold that off for like 20 minutes to reveal that that's her same reason for
So
joining.
good.
But yeah, so the funny thing is the first 6 minutes is them going. She joins the club, takes pictures. An entire year happens. The president leaves. She is now left with the club.
She also wins a photography contest.
She also
by
wins.
taking-
Yeah, took a really good picture of the president taking pictures.
It's
Yeah,
it's
you
a
gotta-
meta. It's a meta prompt.
Yeah, it's some fucking nonsense. The show is nonsense.
Explaining the meta prompt would also be meta.
But yeah, so yes, so you got gang, you got the 2 gang, you got her and you got her friend who joined the club to take pictures of her taking pictures. So it was like a big chain of people taking pictures. It's silly. And they're like, damn, we should actually like, get cameras and take pictures, I guess, without just our phones, because like cameras are cool. We're like, phones, they take pretty good pictures, but there's things phones can't do, like take 360 video, which they just go and buy a 360 camera because they're insane. They also buy like the 2 cameras they buy are the most nonsense looking cameras that have ever existed. They got 2 fucking sticks. Those are not cameras, those are sticks. I was trying to look at the show, load to the show. I guess you got your main character. What the fuck even is her name? Amamiya? I'm trying to remember what they call her. Is the problem? Like, I don't remember what name she goes by in the show. It's Satsuki Amamiya, and I don't remember what they call her. And I don't think it's either of them. One of them should say they call her a nickname.
I
Anyway,
believe you're right.
Yeah, she goes by Sachan. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fucking nickname that she goes by the whole time. That's why my brother's like, that name looks wrong. Yeah, we got Sachan, you got her friend On. Episode like 2.5, like halfway through episode 2, their club advisor goes, hey, there's only 2 members in your club. It's a new club member. Club's gonna die. They go, no, we're so sad. I'll get back to the other thing that happens in episode 1 later. I want to introduce this character first. And they're like, oh no, we're so sad. And then also other club, Cinema Club, they're also gonna be disbanded because there's also only 2 members there. And they're like, oh no, that's so sad. Hey, let's go talk to her. And they go talk to our girl Shikishima. And they go, Shikishima, could you join our club? And she goes, sure. And they go, oh no, wait, you said yes? She goes, sure. Fuck it. I guess. She's the most laid back little fucking bean that has ever existed. She's just here to she's here to vibe. And then also, like, randomly in episode 2, we get some, like, what is probably, like, alluding to, like, a really deep flashback, like, randomly. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, we're gonna ignore that. Anyway, back to episode 1. So these 2 are just walking around taking pictures. And they find this just random, like, cafe sweet selling place.
She
No.
doesn't
How the fuck
have.
do they-
She
Oh,
doesn't
I
get her
forgot.
camera.
Yeah, camera. the camera. I forgot. Yeah. So she orders her camera from some online buyer on like eBay or
from
whatever.
fake
or
Amazon.
eBay.
Yeah, from a fake
Yeah.
eBay.
Fucking.
You're right.
Whatever the fuck. And she goes, "Hey, I want to go get my camera." It's like, wait. Somehow she's able to track down the location of the person she's buying from. Don't know how the fuck she did that one. We're not gonna worry about that. She goes to visit, and she realizes that the person who has it is like living at this sweet shop, and also is a mangaka who's just kind of a shut-in mangaka sitting there vibing, living with her grandmother
And a cat.
at the sweet shop, and a cat. The cat's there like once a month. He's a myth. He exists. So now we've officially created gang. We have the 4 people in gang. And essentially what this show will follow is just we get introduced to in episode 2. Haruno has a friend from back home. That's about the extent we know about her personality. She's kind of like a reckless little guy who rides a motorcycle. Do is they will go around parts of rural Japan around where they live in like the middle of fucking Timbuktu, and just like take pictures and videos of shit, and be dumbasses while doing it, be little sillies, and it's so fucking fun. These characters are just so fucking fun to watch dick around and just explore Japan.
Michael,
Fucking Haruno's the worst driver to ever exist.
you forgot the other absolutely peak portion of it, which is that the mangaka is writing a 4-coma, which I believe this manga was, about girls in a photography club.
Well, yeah, because the idea is that like Haruno's like their sponsor
They
in
are,
quotation
they are
marks.
they are her muse.
Yeah. They essentially make like the fucking Persona 5 confidant deal. They're like, okay, what I will do is be with you and give you reasons to make a manga, and what you will do is bring me places so I can take pictures. And they go, bet, deal. And then here we are. Taking pictures.
Peak show.
Taking pictures.
So
They just be out there taking pictures.
So I want to talk quick. Here's a problem with this first set of episodes of all of our shows for me. I watched a lot of this anime either right before I should have been in bed or right when I woke up because that was the time available I had them. Yes. So there are a couple of shows that were rough for me because the moods they set are not good to keep me to wake me up and or keep me awake. That said, I appreciate this show's humor. In the same way that when we watched Juru Camp on this podcast fucking eons ago, and I was like, this show isn't for me. However, there are comedy bits that fucking kill me every once in a while. I do feel this way about this show as well. Do I think it is the most jarring thing to go, this is a show about girls in a photography club. They are no longer in a photography club, essentially, because they are following a mangaka around. And then to have this happen again is crazy. Not that for that.
Photo video club now,
No,
Sean.
the
'cause they're
Cinephoto
together.
Club.
Cinephoto.
To have two shows yes, I'm very aware that they do exactly what we did when we were in college, okay? And just like the anime portion of that club, the cinematography part of this one is never going to be brought up again. I can't believe there were 2 shows.
Sean staring into an anime-faced mirror.
I can't believe that there are 2 shows this season who I thought I understood the premise of, and then somehow they surprised me by throwing a mangaka involved in it, and I'm very confused. I also cannot express to you how much it does sometimes bother me that they will take photos and I'll be like, look at how beautiful this photo is, and then their head's in the bottom left frame of it because of the way the camera works. I go fucking crap it.
Idiots.
Fucking crap it. What a nice.
I love it because it's so intentional because they're fucking morons. They set the camera up next to them, and then they don't get far enough away to be outside of the frame. It's fucking amazing.
They do a time lapse, and they're just constantly in the time lapse frame.
like shifting around. They fall asleep in the middle of it. It's so fucking funny. These fucking dumbasses. I love them.
It's so good. I'm gonna be real because I know I have this show the highest out of anyone. The humor just killed me in this show.
I was fucking dying the entirety of episode 1. I was just losing.
I cannot
Yeah.
express this enough, and I'm sure Austin is loving this. You should go watch Eurocamp. This is point for point what Eurocamp is like. It's a little more cozy and a little more vibe than this, I would say. But like,
So, funny thing about that, Austin and I are currently in the middle of watching that together.
which is so.
Austin's been
Did you
trying to get me and Amber to watch this every Christmas since we've known him?
did you
Yeah, the last
recognize?
time you tried to do that,
Did you
I did.
recognize the characters, Mason?
No,
That's
so
crazy. I haven't seen that
I
show in
also-
4 years.
It's been like a year since
That's
Austin
fair.
and I watched an episode of it, and also we only got like 2-3 episodes in.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. You haven't met the whole cast
I-
to be like.
I just remember I saw the pink-haired one like walk by.
She's
in
the
one scene, and I
last
was like,
one. Yeah. So if
Or no, because the
No,
the,
she's
like,
the
one
last-
that's no longer like
yeah, that's the darker blue. Yeah.
whatever. Again, I know that like one of them walks by and I go, I want to say it was the first one of them to walk by. And
Yeah.
I look and I go, is that a fucking Eurocamp character? Fucking Google, here we go.
This is-
Eurocamp cast.
Michael, this is the equivalent to watching Cardfight Vanguard, and there's just fucking idol characters from other Bushiroad content. Just fucking the detective idols from Bushiroad's other series are just like
What the fuck
in
are
the
they doing there?
background.
Investigate. Google investigate.
fucking.
I
I
was just
I
I
will
was vibing
not
so much.
I will
Shit's so
not
stupid.
be upset with anybody for liking this show. I don't even dislike it.
Mhm.
But this has almost reaffirmed in my mind where I was like, I've always said like, oh, I think if I gave Eurocamp a second chance now, coming to like slice of life as a genre more, I would probably enjoy it. I actually don't think that's true. I think I would probably still vote it off at a similar speed, just because like the genre of cute girls do cute things is perhaps not enough for me personally. Perhaps we need to innovate and make it cute boys do cute things, and then I would enjoy it more. Who knows?
Sean, do I have the show for you? Pretty Boys Detective Club.
I know,
exists.
right? It's OP slaps. Kind of.
Yeah.
This show's OP and ED are also good.
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about as well. This show's animation is crazy. I love it. It's
Yeah.
so expressive and just like it's not afraid to do like cartoony things, and I like that.
Yep. Character eyes in this show are fucking insane.
I love like every picture we get of the gang in episode 3 because they're like progressively getting more like tired as they're going on this like 27-hour road trip. It's so I love. Again, episode 3, watching the go around. It's like, oh, we gotta visit these spots for this camping. They get like, oh yeah, we got this camping site here. We got here, and this is the character's house. That's just a shack. House that'd be weird. It was an actual person's house in the show in the anime. It's so silly.
I think the show is.
Completely
I think the show is good. I think it definitely accomplishes exactly what it's trying to do. In that regard. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, we gotta see. My God,
Toad,
we gotta get smooth.
We're halfway.
Complete tone change. Welcome to Rock is a Lady's Modesty. So
What do you
Rock
mean?
is
Let's go.
Rock is a Lady's Modesty follows the main character, Lalisa Suzunomiya, who we find out very quickly, all of her peers, in her class at least, adore her, and they think she is the ideal perfect woman in this all-girls private academy that is made to raise and hone the greatest progeny to ever progeny of young girls whose fathers are all really important. That is the premise here. We learned that Lisa is adopted. She was adopted. She is a stepdad who is the important one. So he married her mother, and now she's a part of this family. And so now she must to pacify her mother and father's relationship so that her mother isn't abandoned because she would be a train wreck and a disgrace to the family, she has to become the ideal perfect lady. And just throughout the course of the day, she stumbles upon a guitar pick. And then slowly tunes in that this guitar pick belongs to Oraha Kuragane, who is also another really high-regarded girl who attends this school, whose father is also really important, as they all are. Lisa is attempting to be, God, I wish I had the term down.
Noble maiden.
Thank you. Which essentially just means she's the best of the best of that year's class.
Fucking whatever they call it, a different thing every show. Top of the class.
So she winds up tracking down Oraha to return the guitar pick because she feels it must be important to her if it is hers, and she knows it is Oraha's because Oraha was searching for something mysterious she dropped in the hallway, and she goes, "It couldn't be. A lady like her wouldn't need a guitar pick like this. But just in case, I'm gonna go wander and try to find her." And so she literally stalks her after class, into an abandoned dormitory that the school used to have, and finds Oraha fucking drumming away. The show also opens with her in the drums, so you know exactly what you're getting into. This shit rules. She lets Oraha play, and then Oraha goes, "Oh, thanks for the guitar pick. You want to, you know it's a guitar pick, which means you know rock music. Do you want to, play the guitar?" And we find out here pretty quick that Lisa has, given up on rock music and playing the guitar, because that's not ladylike. But her dad, her actual dad, was the person she learned how to play guitar from. And Lisa's like, no, I won't. And Oraha goes, "Oh, so you suck," and goads her into playing the guitar, and it rules. And at the end of this first interaction with them, Lisa goes, "She fucking overpowered me on the drums. What the fuck is her problem? I fucking hate this bitch. I never want to see her again. I have an objective I must meet." Oraha, however, very much wants to keep playing guitar and rock music with her, and won't leave her alone. And unfortunately, she has it in with some of the other bigwigs at the school. And thus it is in Lisa's interest to at least not push her fully away from her all the time. And she gets talked into showing up again, to try to convince Oraha that she should really give up on trying to get her to play music. And she gets goaded again. And they have another playoff, to where they both decide, okay, fine, we're gonna keep playing rock music together. It's totally never gay. There's totally not some weird SMN stuff going on here. Don't worry about it. Totally straight in an all-girls private academy. Don't worry about it. But Lisa's like, if we're gonna play rock music, we have to respect the fact that we go to this academy, and we must be prim and proper about it. And then 10 minutes later, they were cursing each other out brutally, and it's beautiful. At the end of the episode, we see Lisa's younger sister, Arisu, is getting chatted by her friends at her school about how incredible and perfect her sister is, and they can't believe they've never heard of her before. And she very clearly has a problem with this, because the sisters do not get along. I think this show's rad as fuck. I think the music rules. I love the setting and the story idea.
It show's peak.
This shit, no pun intended, rocks.
God, just the bit where she finally accepts it and gets into the music, and the entire background and all the colors slide in is so good.
Visual imagery in this show is insane. I like the scene where she is getting overpowered the first time, and it is her getting wrapped in thorns. It's sick as fuck.
It's a little bit lewd, but
hey, man, who am I to judge? The All Girls Academy.
Horny, you know.
This is the best visual euphemism I have ever seen.
I will say too, something I noted because I watched it a couple times to make sure the animation and the drumming is like pretty much spot on. Which like
to explain that, they rotoscoped Zenmaid, or Bandmaid, Zen Shoes Opening. They rotoscoped that whole band for all of the musical performances,
which
for
is
the show.
so rad that they did that. Because listen, nothing bothers me more than watching a music show and they're just like not playing the music. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, but like the drumming is like basically like 1-to-1. It is like so in tune with it, and I love that. It's the little things that make a show great. I really like that about the show, and I think it's pretty rad. I think it gets a little bit interesting at times, to say the least. But like where they're just like screaming at each other while playing music a lot of times. I do the part where she's like, all right, can you sing it all? And she's like, why would I need to sing? Do you think your guitar playing sucks? It's just like,
do we need a singer?
why do we need a singer? Your guitar playing is like mid, but like we can fix that.
They're so fucking. I love how brutal they are with each other.
They're like, you want to fuck? You want to fuck? No, fuck you. What?
I'm so interested where the other two band members are gonna come from for this show.
Yeah, are they also in the school? Because that feels crazy to get more people from the school.
Are they also just fucking weirdos? Probably.
So my thing with this show,
Does that mean like in Cam, when her little sister comes to this school the next year, then she's gonna be the other like rhythm guitarist for the band?
that'd be crazy.
They have the fifth member.
So I did not like episodes 1 or 2 of the show. I thought the performance at the end of 1 was good. I really disliked the 2 main characters going through 1 and 2. 3 fixed that because 3 gave us time for them to exist together. I thought the song they played worked better to go through the 2 characters. Like, I think Youth as a song just worked super well there, or a piece. And also the stuff we get like as they're playing. The way the interaction they get at the end. But God, did I just not care for 1 or 2. Shinomiya's hair still pisses me off. I know that shouldn't matter, but God, does it piss me off. Piss me off. I hate her hair so
Michael,
much.
we play Danganronpa. How?
Those characters don't move around, Sean. They're still images. And I also think Celeste's hair is stupid. Like, well, I probably like the show more, yeah. Because, like, 3 definitely was that jump I wanted for it. But those first 2 episodes definitely didn't help my thoughts with the show. The fucking performance in 3 is phenomenal. I adored that performance so much. He's so fucking good. Outside of the thing where she puts the leash, I don't know why that was there. That was a little weird. I understand it's a visual metaphor, but they could have done it a little differently, probably.
You know why that's there.
That horny.
You know why that's there.
Because Rock is horny. Anyway.
It's an all-girls private academy.
I know, and also Rock is horny.
I don't know. This setting, the premise, the themes are like everything I know that I'm already gonna adore about it. Like it just all comes perfectly for me. I mean, it's only the first 3 episodes. This is like realistically, not a lot happens in these first 3 episodes, but you do get a good amount of backstory for Lisa as a character, and like I think that's really important for the crux of where you're coming from for like this kind of story, is to understand what she's been through and why she has her relationship with guitar and rock as a whole. So I really like these first 3 episodes personally. I thought that I walked out of these 3 going, this is good. This is great.
In my brain, all of that was episode 3.
Yeah.
Like episode 1 and 2 quite literally is the 2 fucking walking around school being dumbasses and me going, okay, Otaha's doing some bullshit in episode 2, I guess. Woo. Like, especially episode 2, I did not care for. It is just Otaha running around school doing Otaha things.
Listen, episode 1, she stalked her. Episode 2, her stalked she. Episode 3, meet in the middle.
Yeah. I want to say it's in 2 is the part where she realizes that Otaha is doing the drumming practice under the table, and I think that's a neat bit for her to tune into. Like, I like the I think it's also 2, or is it? It might be 3 where it happens. Is 3 where she starts slipping? It is 3 where she starts slipping up in class and giving answers
Yeah.
that
Just drawing
aren't
like
right.
the edgy painting.
Yeah. The painting is maybe a little over the top of all of them, but I like the other
It was a
bits
good
where
bit.
I like the other bits where she just slips up and gives wrong answers or improper answers. We fucking gotta. We gotta.
It quite literally was just I got through episode 3 and I went, okay, I get it now. I get what the show's trying to do. I need more of that.
Did we get a Red Hot Chili Peppers name drop in this show? Was that what it
Yes.
was? Yeah.
That's the reason she knows English, because she
Yeah.
listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Def-
Can't stop addicted to the shindig, as one could say.
I just can't imagine. Imagine
He's
that
taking
being.
it on the other side.
Imagine that being your foundation. Snow.
So, starts fucking quoting Subway to
Ayo.
Vita. Says garbage.
I'm excited for more of this.
Yeah, the show is at 8, and that's just because.
Told you just take names out of a hat in week 1 sometimes because like everything's pretty good, and then hopefully stuff will start to separate itself out in the next couple weeks.
Okay, Mason, how fast can you talk about a Gundam?
Well,
Especially one that does what this show chooses to
That's
do.
some bullshit.
so in the beginning,
There was
there
Gundam.
was Char. And Char stole a Gundam.
It's
And
not
then painted
paint.
it red. And after he did that, we meet a girl named, hold on, I have this pulled up.
She just goes by Mach.
Her name's Amate Yuzuriha, and she goes by she is our protagonist. One day, there are these 2 Gundam that are fighting outside of her space colony, and they get into the space colony. Then one of them crashes, and this is a secret government project on a Gundam. And he crashes and decides to hide out in the sewer, and then can't get the Gundam working. While this is happening, the military police show up, and they start destroying a bunch of things. And Machu steals a mech, or like a mobile suit that's just kind of hanging around from this group that does clan battles. I'll get to that later. And she tries to go fight the MPs first, and then goes into the sewer and finds the Gundam and steals it. She then proceeds to kick the shit out of anyone that comes near her for the next like episode and a half. Following this, she decides that she's going to join clan battles. These are basically underground Gundam and mobile suit fight clubs in space.
So not underground, but if you go far enough underground, it is in space. So if you just go
Yeah.
further enough underground,
So like they're kind of underground, but like not really, because they are televised. But like
They're
they have to get out of there in a certain amount of time,
it's
because
illegal
otherwise
televised Gundam fights.
It's-
yes.
They are underground battles in the same sense that that 9 and 12's actions in Terror and Resonance are not just them going, send video straight to the police.
Yeah.
It's also listen. It's also the fact that it's like, listen, are you really gonna go out and deal with the Gundams? Those are fucking Gundams, bro. Those are scary. Like, who wants to deal with that
But
shit?
to be fair, they're not supposed to have those.
No.
She joins the clan battle with this weird guy named Shuji. The reason she joins this is because Shuji is trying to buy something off of the courier that led Machu to getting the Gundam. He then loses his money to pay for said thing because of Machu. So they join clan battle together to get the money for him, and so Machu can do it. She proceeds to use this Gundam better than anyone ever could have expected, and better than the guy who she stole it from was using it. Also, it seems to be because that she can link with it psychically, because that's what we're doing in this Gundam. Crazy, because shocker, who would have guessed that the guy who made Evangelion was going to do this with Gundam? But oh well. This show's interesting. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's very interesting having the point of referencing OG Gundam, but it not mattering enough to the plot yet that you need to have watched it.
I think it's hard to say that when all of episode 2 is explaining the plot. My understanding, explaining a central plot point of like OG Momosu Gundam.
What I'll say is this: I have seen at least the first couple of episodes of OG Gundam. That is, from what I understand, shot for shot, just the first episode of OG Gundam, but from Char's point of view.
Yeah.
So, doesn't affect too much yet. It's definitely interesting in having to kind of like catch up on all of this Gundam history, but not too much. Just know it just helps know in like what kind of like military and political climate they're in at the moment.
I mean, so I was curious about this because the next episode is called, has the word witch in it, and I was like, okay, I need to know if we're gonna get some funky ass shit in here. And the answer is Witch from Mercury is entirely isolated on its own timeline compared to every other Gundam, so that's not about to happen. Don't worry about that. I also now know how this relates to the Gundam timeline.
It's in the Universal Century. I want to say it's before Thunderbolts.
It is a parallel split universe.
Oh, okay.
And my understanding, loosely, I think, is that the scene we get with Char is not exactly how that plays out, per se.
No.
Like the outcome of this war, I believe, is different from OG Gundam.
Yes.
Which is why this is an alternative timeline.
Yeah, because in OG Gundam, Char loses.
Yeah.
In this one, he wins.
Yeah, he neurolinks with the Ava.
Wins.
He neurolinks with the Ava and they win. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing that he just kind of like GTA'd a Gundam.
I mean, this show...
It's like they just fucking left the cockpit open.
Yeah.
Are they stupid?
Left the keys in the car. Like,
what the fuck is wrong with that?
Why would I leave my good Gundam?
What stupid fucking name. The Federation's a bunch of dumbasses.
Gundam GQuuuuuuX.
There are a couple of things here.
So, I want to point out as well.
Yeah.
This is what happens in original Gundam. It's just the main character gets in that Gundam.
Yeah. There are a couple of things I want to talk about in relation to this show. I like this show because it's interesting and the fights are really cool. They're really cool mech fights. Fucking rad as hell. And as a main character, she's just fucking going. I'm all down for this. I don't know what's wrong with her, what wires not crossed properly, but she chooses violence on every path. It's kind of crazy. She seems to have a regular fucking upbringing, so I don't know how she got here. She was just really upset her phone got broken, I guess.
Seriously.
I need more time with the main cast to really know how I feel about them and the story we're getting, though, because episode 2, 80% of it is Char background, so that you understand where you are, kind of, in relation to Gundam. What I will say is, not being a Gundam nerd, that episode is still rad for what it does on an animation and, like, throwback style of, like, we are modern-day animation mimicking older style animation and sound design. The OST for episode 2 is insane.
Oh my god.
Because
the OG Gundam music. Oh.
Char is in his Gundam locking to murder people, and the music is like and it's like, yeah, this is what anime was like 25, 34 years ago.
40 years.
Spoon, get in here.
It just looks good. It looks insane. Like that episode 2 in particular, like the way the characters are drawn, like the way everything's animated, like they capture that perfectly. That's insane. I can't I can't be rude to this show because that was a feat that was impressive to me to watch. Now Michael has thoughts about it.
I mean, yeah, so
because I know the story.
So episode one was great. I watched that. Like, I think I watched that.
We
I
watched
watched
it,
it with Mason or whatever. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, with the Sean. After
Hey,
watching 8 minutes of it, made a comment that I was watching. And Sean's like, "Why are you not streaming it?" I was like, "Oh, because you're like doing something." And he's like, "Fuck you, stream it." I'm like, okay. Anyway, we watched that episode. I was like, okay, we're vibing. Saw the protagonist on the poster before this and went, I recognize that character designer. It's the character designer for World's End Club, one of the games by Kotaku. That's a fucking rabbit hole. Anyway, get through episode. I'm like, okay, I'm vibing with this. I kind of picking up what it's putting down. Start episode 2. Watch the opening. Episode starts. 3 minutes in, I'm sitting there going, did I fucking click on the wrong? Am I watching the wrong show? Episode 11 hit, or like 11 minutes in, and I go, and it shows the title card, and I'm like, okay, this is the right show, right? They didn't just like air the wrong show between the opening and title cards.
Imagine
right?
they just aired a Mobile Suit Gundam episode from the fuck.
I was like, this is cool.
So funny.
I'm like, what is happening? And then we finally get to the end and we meet Chagall and we see him there. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck did I just watch? And then I go watch it again with Sean. I was like, okay, I get. And now like you're able, once you like understand that's what it's doing is that it is just a full flashback, because there's literally the only character in this in the entire episode 2 that you had met up to that point is Chagall. And and you meet him significantly younger and different looking than the one you meet in the show.
See, and
in
this
episode 1.
And this wasn't as jarring to me because like I follow people who are big Gundam heads, so I know some things broadly about Gundam. So like I know about Char's existence, I know what his character design looks like, and so like when we start episode 2, I go, oh, that's him. That's the guy that everybody talks about. Who I know is like a character and then an antagonist, another character and then an antagonist, and he goes back and forth on that for a while. But I can't imagine not being a Gundam head or knowing like a lot of like the bare minimum from Gundam and going into this, because like it just throws it at you. And John, did you watch sub or dub?
I watched dub.
Okay.
Or sub, sorry.
Okay, because Michael and I watched episode 2 and 3 dubbed, and the dub does, we watched it dubbed with the Japanese subtitles on. There are some things in the sub that they will throw out a term, and they will just give you the abbreviation. You have no fucking clue what it means. The dub will actually tell you what it is, which is nice.
So, do you want to do... So Mason, because you're a person who's watched Gundam stuff. Could you tell us what MAV stands for?
So I believe it's an acronym.
Do you know what the acronym stands for?
It's like
I looked it up, Mason.
Multi-area vehicle or something like that.
Mason, we don't know. The Gundam universe doesn't know what MAV stands for yet.
Right,
they haven't revealed it yet. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a thing that they say.
No, it's so fucking dumb, and I love it so. Episode 3, we start like getting the cast again. We get Sherry, who's introduced by sniffing people's hair. Weird thing to do, but you know what? Go off, King. I guess. I don't know.
He's on drugs. He's on drugs. They're in his brain. They're in his brain.
Our fucking the 3 chuckle fucks. It's my favorite type of protagonist group. You have Machu, Neon, and Shuri, the fucking 3 chuckle fucks. I love them so much. We haven't really done anything with Neon yet, but like, I could feel I feel the vibes that she's also one of the chuckle fucks.
And you have Beanie Haru.
Yeah.
Beanie Haru is best Haru.
Now, John.
No,
how's the Gundam going for you?
I mean, it's Gundam. I don't know. Listen. Enjoyed a ton of Gundam. I watched Mobile Suit Gundam with Spoon and Mason at one point.
Double O.
Trailblazers, and the movie, which always comes up. AMQ, but I can never tell which one's the show and which one's the fucking movie, and I hate it. And then we watched Witch of Mercury, which are two very, very different shows. This one feels a lot more like one than the other, but it also sprinkles in like that element of like Witch of Mercury, and that like the cast is in general a bit younger than what we see in like traditional. The stakes are just slightly different, but also like I feel like we're gonna get to that like world altering stakes at the same time, because of course like the big super powerful Ultra Gundam is in the hands of a teenager. Um
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the
Suddenly,
space
war
elevator
crimes.
drop.
Yeah. When does she commit war crimes? That's what I want to know. That's really what I'm waiting on with this show. Is like, when does she just drop like a mech on somebody and smile and say, "Look, I
Look.
protected you."
So the question we have to ask is: are we going the child soldier route, or are we going the terrorist route? There's only two ways Gundam
I mean,
goes.
you could do both. They're kind of.
Child soldier terrorists breaking new ground here.
But that's kind of where I'm at with it, in that like, it's Gundam.
Yeah.
If you love Gundam, yeah, good for you. For me, it's like there's a lot of shows that are kind of all in that middle of the pack area for me. So it's like this could have been like 5, this could have been like 10. It just happened to be 10 this week, because that's where I decided to put it, because Gundam doesn't fire the neurons in my brain, like it does for some people. And while I do love like the aesthetics of the second episode, it just feels a little bit like you're watching a different show for like
Yeah.
half for like a
Yes.
third of our watching. You're like, why did I just get dropped into a different show here? That like visually and like aesthetically just felt completely different than like the main show, and I'm not sure how that like really gelled with me, if that makes sense.
That's fair. Again, on first watch, I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And then I watched it again with Sean. I was
Yeah.
like, upon like knowing what the gimmick was, I was like, "Okay, I get it. This is like actually fucking rad." Like, because you get like the music's like very clearly like the like 80s 90s style Gundam soundtrack.
70s.
70s, whatever. You fucking
79.
old as shit. Yeah, it's like basically the 80s.
It's getting there.
But like it was like it was so cool. It's like, oh, like would you get it? But it is also very weird. You just go like, hey, so we're watching this character. You guess a Gundam.
And the
now all of a sudden, Char.
And the episode ends, by the way, with "Go watch episode 1." What a fucking yeah, exactly. You are episode 2. You aired it this way. Fuck off. I wonder, this aired as a movie. The first couple episodes, I believe, aired as a theatrical. I wonder if they ordered it differently.
I think they probably did, just based on how it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go back and watch that, like the beginning movie, and see.
I think it's
once we
first
get like
5.
an episode or 2 further.
I think it's first
Yeah.
5 was what I was told. I will say, like, it also doesn't, episode 2 doesn't come too far out of left field, because in episode 1, he is talking about Char in episode 1. Like I heard I heard names, and I was like, this is Gundam. Like, this is real Gundam.
Yeah, I heard them say Char, and I was just like, oh, we're in Universal Century. Okay, all right, let's go.
Time to lock in. Okay. With that, let's keep us moving. John, your second and last show of the podcast. Talk to us about Lazarus.
Yeah, I love Catch Me If You Can. So in Lazarus, we have like what I refer to as like Suicide Squad-esque gameplay, in that you have a bunch of these former criminals, with the main one that they recruit, and our main character is Axel Gilberto, who is in prison for 888 years, because as it turns out, every time you try to leave prison, they double your sentence. That's the arbitrary rule they do here. He had a 3-year sentence, but he just loved escaping prison, so now he has an 800-year sentence. But he's recruited by Hirsch, who's like, we got to make a team, because Dr. Skinner developed this miracle cure. Just kidding, it kills you all in 30 days. We don't know why or how, but he has a cure if you can find him. He left his cure in one piece. And so they're building a suicide squad of people to try to find this cure called Lazarus. The first episode is them chasing Axel around town and trying to convince him to join the team before they find they're able to knock him out, explain the situation, put the murder you wristband on him, and say, hey, if you help us, we'll get you out of jail. If you don't, we'll burn your hand off. I think that could happen, honestly. Like, could be worse. So in episode 2, they kind of get like set up, as well as like every other government agency in the world, like Liverpool and the FBI and the like NSA and
the fucking
the Mexican cartels and the Russian like mobs are all like trying to go find Dr. Skinner, and they're all baited into the shelter where they just find this random guy, supposedly. And then episode 3 is where I'm trying to remember, because I watched this today, but it's been like a lot of content overload for me. Is that they go and investigate Skinner's house for half of it, and the other half are in is it Hungary?
Yeah, Austria.
Austria, Hungary. Because
baklava.
They want to investigate Skinner's house to see if he left any evidence behind, but it's been scrubbed clean by the FBI and stuff, so they don't really find much there. However, they do have one hint, and that is that the kind of like the foregone leader of this group for like the 5 of them. He has an old friend professor that he wants to see in the slums, which just happened to be run by a former prison friend of Axel's, who is now Jill. Used to be James, but is now Jill, I think is what it was, right?
It was Jerry. Or
Jerry.
whatever.
But now they're Jill.
Yep.
Since leaving prison, they transitioned. Good for them. And so they go to this homeless shelter. They catch up a bit. Doug runs into the former professor who defended him and his theories back when he was in school, who used to work with Skinner. However, as Skinner was making more and more advancements, he started to back off, and then he got jealous, and then he eventually became homeless in some crazy spiral. But he does mention that Skinner always mentioned going and getting his grandmother's baklava because it was the best thing ever. Which leads Axel and Leland, I think, is the younger boy. So they go and explore Austria, I think is what it is. Istanbul, thank you.
Turkey, close enough.
Where there's like this one area that has no monitoring and no information, where that maybe that grandmother happens to live. She does make the most banger baklava in history, in which Axel goes, actually, in hindsight, he cares a lot about his grandmother. He would want to keep an eye on her. Where's the bug in this house? And he finds a little camera and says, hey, we're going to find you, motherfucker. We're going to find you. We're on to you. Also, your grandma's baklava fucking slams. And that's kind of where we leave off with this show.
It cliffhangers that, like, by talking to the camera, it, like, agitates the hacker who's working with Skinner. And that's going to lead us.
It's like Hacker 909 or something like that.
That's
because we have like our main cast is Axel, who's the prisoner that we follow, Doug, who's the former like scholarly type. Yeah, go ahead.
Person who was in Hamilton that got shoved to the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Christine, who is the female lead that is required in these groups. She's the girl. She's the tricky one who makes you think she's one of the casuals and then fucking shot collars you in the neck to knock you out while trying to take a selfie. Leland, who's the young kid who's smart, I guess.
Pilots drones. He's all over the place. Does
drones, convinces guards that they're here to clean the house. And you have Elena, who's the hacker nerd girl, who brings up that, hey, there's only 3 people that could have done this. XD69, Hacker 909, and my alternate name. Oopsies, that's mine. Just kidding.
I can't believe she's just the protagonist from Akadama Drive, also known as Protagonist.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Right.
God, it's crazy how much less I care about this one than I cared about Swindler.
Mad Streamer.
I love Swindler so much.
Okay, Swindler is sick though.
Ordinary girl.
Ordinary girl.
Ordinary girl that stumbles into misfortune. But
I mean,
yeah, it's interesting so far.
Yeah.
Is it too worthy? Probably not, but it's just where it ended up on my list this week.
For what it's worth, I think episode 1
the action scenes are sick.
I think episode 1 is fucking rad as hell. I think episode 1 is exactly what you are pitched with this show, and then I think 2 and 3 kind of slow the pace down a lot. And I don't think it does anything crazy that like really that makes me go like, yes, this is it. It certainly is.
Sean,
Mm-hmm.
no, I was gonna make a bit. I mean, what are you talking about? The thing I'm coming back over and over again for is to see this fucking cop just be the worst at his job.
I mean, that's fair though. For what it's worth, of all the characters, we get the most with Axel, and he is by far the best character that we have. Like his personality is great. He's the personality that he writes well. The internet has said, and I heard this opinion going into it, and I took it with a grain of salt, that maybe the dub's a little stiff. Yeah, maybe the dub's a little stiff. I can't believe I'm saying that.
So I have a retort to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bullshit retort, but I can explain it away with this. When the entire world is taking a painkiller en masse all the time, it probably slows speech a bit. But
Yeah, you could indeed do that. That is a thing you could say. Does this have a sub?
I don't believe so. Well, like it does, but like not one that we can access easily.
Like this is the way we're supposed to, like, and I don't want to get too hung up on it because it's not bad. It is just there are a couple of people, like a couple of characters where sometimes the delivery
Elena
of like
is very stiff.
Hirsch even is very
Hirsch also is.
Like it works for Axel really well because like the way he plays off it like works well. I also just think sometimes the writing's a little uninspired. Like I'm like, yeah, you're Adult Swim, all right. I'm like, you're running through the motions of some of the bits. And then there's some dialogue that's rad as hell, like the gardener. He's great.
I love him.
Like there's just a couple of other like. Is the bit where they run into all the police and government agencies and he says, Lazarus, funny? Yes. Is it also the most like this is like when people say we are in a Marvel the Cinematic Universe world, this is what they're talking about.
That is some fucking Marvel dialogue. But I thought that one especially was real silly. I like the.
But
Lazarus.
I think it works because Axel's delivering it. Because
Axel is fucking great.
But like other characters in this show would also deliver stuff of that quality, and I'm like, but you don't haven't earned it. I'm like, but you aren't a Suicide Squad, so who says you're allowed to get it? I am interested in this. There are stuff that I really like. Just like direction, I don't think the show has hit the same level episode 1 did. Because like the rooftop running scenes and the chasing as a whole, and like even the prison escape, all of that was fucking phenomenal. And we've just really slowed down pace, and I'm like, okay, show me that you could keep doing this. Come on, Mappa. I'm not worried because of who made the show. I might be worried because of you.
My thing with the show right now, again, Axel's fucking phenomenal. I adore every scene he is in. He's so fucking good. The show right now, like I think the setup of the show feels like you have this cast, they're trying to find Skinner, at least. Like that's what it's set up right now.
Yeah.
And it feels like all of our leads have been nonsense bullshit off the get. Like they get a and I'm like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. We can't get there yet. So like, but that's the issue of having a mystery-esque thing that's built around one mystery.
Yep.
All of the setup before like the end is just nothing because I guess we will slowly get more and more pieces of information. Like we get the stuff from the grandma in episode 3. I get quite right now. I just don't quite. I'm not quite in on them trying to find. Like I'm in on Axel exist. And like I think like most of our crew's pretty fun. Like Alexander Hamilton over there, he's pretty cool. Leyland, he's fun. Christine exists. Anytime Elena speaks, my blood fucking boils.
I I can't.
Shut the fuck up.
I can't believe we didn't get more of Christine off the bat already, considering how rad she kind of seems in episode 1, and then she just really backseats.
Why does episode 3 fucking end us off with Elena going, I
mean,
got
she was
it,
also
those
there in episode
noobs
2
are
where they were in
fucking
the
cooked or
shootout.
something, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. She said
Christine
some
was also there
nonsense.
a lot in episode 2 though with the
bullshit lingo.
shootout.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But Michael, that is also exact. That is what I meant by sometimes I'm like the writing. I'm like you're
Every
trying
time
too
Elena
hard.
speaks, I am mad.
You're trying too hard to do the mainstream thing.
That is a person who has no idea how computers work trying to write a hacker saying hacker lingo. She says some fucking when she's explaining her trap, she actually just says 5 buzzwords in a row. The fucking something of the hash algorithm, like shut up. Those mean nothing. You are saying nothing. This
She's
is
the classic,
She-
like, let me
she-
hack into the mainframe.
She might as well have gone. Okay, guys, I'm plugging in the GQuuuuuuX.
I'm plugging in.
fucking nothing. She's saying nonsense. Shut the fuck up.
I like Lazarus. I'm willing to give it time, obviously.
I mean, it still has time. Again, it's not ZatsuTabi. We'll get.
I also think there is a matter that is, like, you're coming from one of the biggest names in anime. Like, is it fair that I might have higher expectations for this and other stuff on the podcast? Maybe not, but maybe don't come from one of the biggest names of anime. Like, I'm sorry.
That's why that's in the set of things that are recommended. This is the guy who made Terror and Kids on the Slope. I get it.
Yes,
And
yes.
Cowboy Bebop.
Wait, you mean this is Cowboy Bebop inspired? I wouldn't have been able to.
That's
tell.
like
Wait,
the
tell me
obvious one.
I mean, you're telling me its opening isn't just Tank but bad.
I think it's fine. Like,
It's completely fine, which is why it's Tank but bad because Tank's peak.
I mean, look, I'm very excited about Kamasi Washington doing music for the show.
I mean, yeah,
That's a big thing
So's
for
really
me.
good. I agree with Michael about the Lazarus opening and that, like, I can listen to Tank over and over and over again every episode of Bebop. I don't need to watch this opening and listen to. I don't need to listen to this opening. It doesn't do. This opening
Doesn't do it for
makes
you.
me feel like I'm watching Margetsu War Heist first. It has the same impact where I'm like, you're trying for something here. I don't care. I'll link you that when we're done so you can remember what that
Sean
OP
is the
sounds
only
like.
person ever to say this.
I'm
No other
also-
person in the world
Nobody
will ever
knows
say,
what I'm talking
watching
about."
The opening for Lazarus makes me feel like I'm watching Magatsu War Heisters.
Specifically the opening for it. Let me be clear, there is a line there that does connect, I promise you.
Yeah, like I am interested to see where it goes, but like the show hasn't given me like the hook to really get me to like care about the plot, like at all yet.
Really excited about
Grandma's fun. She's really
Yeah.
fun. She's great.
Really excited to find out, by the way, how Skinner made it so that multiple people who took this drug all die at the same time, despite having different times when they took this drug.
Yeah, it is possible it's not going to all be at the same time. That might just be
Well,
when it starts.
He said, well, so they say it's not that everyone's going to die in a month. It's that
Okay.
the people that were doing the clinical trials will start dying in a month.
Okay. I see. Because I was gonna say, otherwise
99
that's
people on.
I was gonna
Andy List have
say-
already completed the show.
otherwise that's not how drugs work. I wouldn't know, but hey, Michael, that's Journey.
ZatsuTabi, that's true. So I originally had a bit planned here, and I forgot, and I didn't like write it out to make it actually work. Originally the bit was gonna be, it wasn't gonna work because you guys would have called me on it before I was able to do it. Where I was gonna write a paragraph and talk about mono. Then I was gonna take that same paragraph and just switch the first word out for ZatsuTabi, or wherever I said mono, because God are these shows so ridiculously similar, but somehow ZatsuTabi forgot to be good. I don't know what it did wrong. I mean, that's a lie. I know exactly what it did wrong. This show is a fucking advertisement. This show quite literally is you're watching a mangaka who doesn't have a personality outside of she's a mangaka, I guess.
She's
she
not
still hasn't
good.
she still hasn't drawn literally anything. We know she won a contest. Apparently she's good at manga. I wouldn't know that if she didn't outright fucking tell me. She has some friends, I guess. I guess she met them in school. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Episode 1, she goes, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go on," and just goes on DeWitter or Zowitter, whatever the fuck it's called, ZatsuTabi's Twitter, and goes, "Hey, northeast, west, or south?" And she goes, "I'm gonna go north," because that's what the poll on Twitter said. And she goes north. And the show goes, "So she's gonna go here. And this is the train line she took, and this is how much it costed her to get there, and this is how much it costed to stay overnight." I'm like, oh my god. This show is a fucking tourism, man. Anyway, episode 2. She like gets home or whatever, and then like her friend calls, she goes, or texts her, goes, "Hey, why the fuck was I not invited on that journey?" And she goes,
Mood.
Just kind of went on. She's like, "Well, fuck you. We're going on another one." She puts on another like Twitter poll. I think. I actually don't even know if she Twitter polls this one. I don't remember.
She does.
Nor do I care. And she goes like west, I think, this time, or east. She goes sides. I had one of them. She goes to another part of Japan. I couldn't tell you which one. It is the same thing goes on. This is the train line she took. She took a train line from here to here, made this connection, paid this much on the fucking Shinkansen, whatever. And they go there. They have some fun time. And then they guys watch them have some fun times there. Episode 1, she like does some like this like really neat thing where she like a neat thing where she like climbs a mountain. You get some like really fun. We also get that she like start climbing the mountain from the wrong step because she's a fucking dumbass or whatever. It's like, yeah, this mountain has this many steps, and I don't know if she did too many or not enough. The show doesn't give you a good visual as to where she is.
I believe it says she starts counting when it already has started. Is the idea?
That's what I assumed it was, but I couldn't fucking tell. She doesn't give a good visual because she's not in the picture where they go, "It was supposed to start here." I was like, okay. But yeah, episode 2, she has like a friend. They vibe. They go to like a hot springs place, I think. They have some little friend fun times. And she gets home from that one, and then her second friend goes, "Hey, why was I not invited on that trip?" And she goes, "I don't have enough money." Anyway, so she puts out another Twitter thing. Goes, "Where am I going to go?" She gets north again, but they go a different north this time. They go north, like a little bit to the side or whatever. They go to another place. I just stopped. I stopped caring once I hit episode 3. I will admit I was just skipping through episode 3. I was doing the 5-second little skip forward every once in a while. I was like, yeah, fucking they're Japan, cool.
It was crazy. I watched episode 3, my eyes closed, I opened it and it was over, and I went, I don't have time to go back.
Again, this show is so obvious. It feels like this feels wrong to say because the show it has a manga that it's based on, but this just feels like, especially because it's all like from Tokyo, these are the exact train lines to take. This is a fucking advertisement for visiting Japan, and like, cool, I guess. I don't fucking care.
You know what
oh my god, do I not care.
Michael, you know what was a neat and kind of quirky, fun PSA about Japanese railroads? Rail Romanesque. You know what made that work? It was short form.
It's like 3-minute episodes, and also the trains were fucking anime girls. Mason, have you ever heard of Rail Romanesque?
No, Michael, no one besides you and me has heard of Rail Romanesque.
It's just train girls doing train things. 3-minute short form or something.
Train.
You know what makes traveling shows interesting? When there's a reason. Like, Kino's journey exists because the character is doing something and going somewhere, and like there is a reason for it. She's bad at writing manga, so she needs to go not be depressed, so she spends all her money and vibes. And you know what? There is a certain level of mood to that. However,
he's like trying to get inspiration or whatever. She still hasn't drawn anything.
No.
At least fucking Kurane or whatever her name is fucking Mono has actually like been speaking with her like manager or like editor and like getting shit done. It's all getting rejected, but she's getting shit done. Oh no, this girl gets like 3 things rejected. I guess we do actually see her make something. It just
No,
gets rejected.
we don't. We just hear that it gets rejected.
Well, yeah. Again, we are just told a lot of things in the show. Things happen off screen, and we're told something happened.
You could remove her being a mangaka completely out of this, and it wouldn't change anything.
No, but that she have money. That's the problem. We needed a way for her to have money. That's
so.
it.
To add on to this show's just an ad thing, how it likes to show where they're at is interesting, to say the least, in that it just kind of like superimposes them on a photo that has had a filter put over it of just where they're at all the time. And it is very off-putting because the characters look so out of place in this show when they're there. I think the show's like fine.
Yeah, like I don't actually think this show is like this show is not gonna incite a momentary Lily level rant from me,
God.
right? Like, but it's just it's nothing.
It's a fucking advert.
I feel nothing. And maybe that's wrong of me because I slept through the 3rd episode, but like you should have kept me awake.
God, I wish I could have.
Had I known, I would have done the same.
Because like at least episode 2, the purple-haired friend's like kind of fun to be with. She's a fucking little silly.
Isn't she like a mentor to her? Did I make this up in my sleep?
Fucking the red-haired girl in episode 3. Boy, did I not care about any time she spoke. Nor was I wasn't particularly paying attention. But being interesting in the fucking slightest.
She goes crazy over walls in archaeology.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
And then I don't remember our main character's name, I'll be so honest.
Her name is Chika Suzugomori.
Right.
ZatsuTabi.
Yeah. Chika just kind of looks at her and goes, "Do you want to just talk about walls more?" And she just does.
I do remember that actually. That was in there somewhere in the cycle.
So John, do you want to join in on fun?
John actually really liked ZatsuTabi.
Yeah, no, I actually really love stairs. They're actually my biggest thing I love about, going up in life.
It's only his number 11 show because something has to be, right, John?
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely not a walking ad that is just a worse experience than mono in most varieties. In fact, the show gave me mono, I'm pretty sure.
I want you to know that I don't think you meant it that way, but the expression of this show is worse than mono having double meaning is so good.
I don't want to say too much on it for 2 reasons. 1, you guys covered most of it, and 2, my head cold is starting to come back. So,
okay.
as the Tylenol wears off, but yeah, I mean, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head with this one, and why it's 11 for me too. It's just like, I love, you guys know me. I love my chill, relaxing, just brighten my day kind of shows. But like we have like 4 of those.
The show didn't particularly brighten my day.
And this one
made me sad.
Listen, if I want to turn my brain off, I can watch Witch Watch. If I want to turn my brain off with rock music, I can watch Rock as a Lady. If I want to turn my brain off with pictures, I can do mono. I can't also turn my brain off with this, with the scenic destination.
And watch people ride trains. That's like 50% of the show is just her on a fucking train.
I love fucking trains. Let me tell you, trains are fucking awesome.
We
need to build more high-speed rails in America. That's a whole nother argument.
Can we also talk about the fact that they build up that they're going to do a thing, and then the show just doesn't have them do it? They're like, hey, we're going to take this like trolley car thing up the mountain because that's going to be so cool. It's so sick. Actually, we came at the wrong time of the year. Sucks.
Guess we're walking.
Again, That's just it's literally an ad saying, hey, if you're going to do this, you make sure not to
Yes.
come during the fall
During
or
November
whatever
to April.
fucking season they're in.
All of them.
It's
Okay,
cold, I think.
let's move us on. We're almost done, guys. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Once Upon a Witch's Death. So, Once Upon a Witch's Death follows our main character,
Feet.
Meg Raspberry. We're not there yet. Calm down. Meg
I'm
Raspberry.
sorry, it was very
who
notable.
she's about to turn 17. Well, she is 17. And she finds out that when she turns 18, she's gonna fucking die. Because she's been cursed with a congenital disease that no
Wait, you mean
magic.
a witch that bad things are gonna happen to, Sean? Where have I heard this premise
I know,
before this
I
season?
know. And nobody can save her. The most powerful witches can do nothing to her because it's basically just a regular old illness, and she's gonna have to suffer. And apparently, according to this show, magic cannot cure bodily ailments ever.
Ever.
It can help alleviate them, but it can't just fucking solve it. So Meg is essentially told, if you are going to live, you have to go collect a shit ton of tears, of tears of joy, and by doing so, you will create a seed of life, and you will essentially go, yo, Reaper, fuck off when he comes to take your life in a year. And Meg goes, that seems like a lot of work. And her teacher Faust is like, it is.
Good luck.
Good luck. And so Meg sets out, and she meets this little girl, and she finds out this little girl's mother, he fucking died. And she goes and accompanies her and learns a little bit about her and helps them figure out what her favorite flower was. And I'm speedrunning this episode. I actually think this first episode's very well done. I think it's a very nice episode. It gets you the tearjerker that the show is clearly striving for, of like a hey,
tears.
Yeah, you have to get someone's tears. This is a very important moment. Like you've given closure to a daughter and a father for having lost a mother and a wife. And so Mega's like, hey, look, I got this. And Faust goes, well, those aren't actually pure tears of joy because they were also sad about, the significant other being fucking dead. And she goes, okay. So, like, what difference does this make? And Faust goes,
Let's find out.
We'll have to.
It cuts down the total she needs by like 990. She just doesn't know yet.
We'll have to see when we get there.
Those are pure tears.
Episode 2, Meg is talking with her friend Fine. And Fine has a watch that does not work. And this watch is very important to her. And Faust looks at this watch and goes, damn, that watch is fucking donezoed. You should get rid of it. And Meg goes, well, hold on. I know a guy who's really good at watches. And so he spends some time looking at the watch, and Meg and Fine talk, and Fine's like, hey, Meg, you're, like, really okay with the fact that you're gonna fucking die. And Meg's like, yeah, guess I kinda am. Maybe I'm lying a little bit, but, like, you can only do so much, right? And Fina's like, well, I don't want you to die. Like, I'd be very sad if you died. And Meg's like, that's a good reason to not die, because I am...
Good reason to be alive, yeah.
Because at this point in the show, I'm very gay, Meg says. Until next episode, where she's very bi. But the clockwork, the watchmaker comes out, and he's like, hey, so, yeah, your watch is donezoed. And we had found out that Fine's watch had come from her grandfather, who she lost. It's very sentimental and very important to her. And Meg goes, okay, I'm gonna conduct a ritual. Meg does do magic in these 2 episodes. I kind of glanced over the fact that she conjured flowers so that the family could see them in relation to the wife's favorite flower. It was very cute. It was very wonderful, very touching. Here, she does a seance ritual to release the spirit inside the watch, because we're in the fucking Mega Man world where they just trap spirits inside of things to make them function. And so Meg goes, spirit be gone, and the spirit, like, gives Fine, like, a nudge against her face.
It begones cutely.
To imply that it, like, maybe has some of her, like, grandfather's spirit in it. And Fine cries, and she gets a tear from it, and it's very nice. The second half of this episode...
Joy?
Yeah, as close as you can get. The second half of this episode, Meg walks by an old lady who she is quite familiar with and sees a dark aura around her and remembers when she was younger when this first happened, and she finds out that people who have this dark aura means they are about to fucking die. That's right, we're in the Nickelback music video.
Look at this photograph.
Not that one.
Look at this graph.
I believe it's Saving Me is the song. You can go check that out. But
Mason is dead. You have
yeah, I have killed Mason. He was not ready for Nickelback.
Mason has succumbed to the fog.
Never are. Oh, also this show takes place in the real world. It's just with magic. Because they're in what? London? Or are they in Germany?
Well, they travel to the Far East, they say in quotes.
They flat out
think
mentioned
they
mentioned the United States in episode 3. We'll get there. You okay,
yeah, but they don't
Mason?
mention Japan specifically. They just say the Far East in quotes.
Yeah. So Meg sees this old woman. She's going to die, and Meg likes this old woman. She's very nice to her. She feels bad about it. She goes home to Faust and is like, hey. Well, Faust goes, what's wrong? And Meg goes, well, this woman has a death aura around her. And Faust goes, you can't do anything about that. You can't stop death. And Meg goes, the fuck you mean I can't stop death? We're trying to stop
we're trying to do?
Yeah, we're trying to stop my death. And Faust goes, that's different. And Meg goes, why? And she goes, because you are going to have the ability to do this. And this is not...
Curses.
Yeah, this is a curse. It's not the natural occurrence of life. This is going to happen, and some things you have to come to terms with. And Meg goes, fuck you, fuck your food, it's good, but fuck you, and goes and lives with the old woman for like a fucking week. Because Meg has no sense of responsibility or time in relation to her own mortal life.
It's been like 2 months
as we are,
by the way.
yeah, when we get to episode 3, we're gonna get to it. But Meg essentially talks to the old woman and is like, hey, what would you want in your... If the world were to end tomorrow, and she's like...
Hypothetically, if you were to not be alive
And she's like, I'd like to see my family, my son and his whole extended family, that'd be neat. And they go for a walk, and there's this tree that she spent her whole life with, and this tree is also dying. And this is Meg coming to terms with the fact that things fucking die. And so she goes and she flies on her owl and brings the family here. And the old lady's like, thank you for doing this for me, Meg. And then dies on the bench next to Meg with her family just around the corner. To which Faust shows up and is like, hey, you did a good job, kid. This happens. We get no closure from the family, which I actually think is okay.
Right.
I actually do think this is okay because it's not about... In a really funny drowning meme, it's not about them. It's like, for us, this is about Meg, and, like, surely a lot of things happen there. It is crazy she doesn't get 5 tears from this.
Right.
That is insane. Episode 3, Meg fucks off and does nothing. And we actually get a good reason for this by the end of it. But, so Faust has to go attend a conference of the 7 Great Witches, which is being held in the United States of America. God bless. And so we find out that humans fucked up and the environment's decaying, and the witches are gonna try to do some balancing with their magics to try to stabilize it. And we get introduced to Inori, who's another one of who is the witch of wisdom, who also stinks and puts her feet in Meg's face, and Meg goes, "Ew, you fucking stink. Take a bath, stinky lady." I wonder what's going on in this episode. Something weird got in the water here. But Inori Inori makes like, hey, have some tea. I grow the tea in the back. This was my first job I was given by Faust, was to tend to this garden. And Inori's like, you actually do a really good job with this. You actually seem really smart and knowledgeable about herbs. I could use somebody like you. You should come work for me when you're done being an apprentice. And Meg goes, I'm actually gonna die. And Inori goes, why aren't you doing anything about that? And Meg goes, and she goes, have you just given up? And Meg goes, oh shit. I've been sleeping in bed every day and just not going to do the job I was supposed to do. Am I depressed about dying? I should go fix that, maybe. And then by the end of the episode, another week has passed and she has not done anything else either. But we have a huge festival of the spirits coming up, and Faust cannot partake in it because her back hurt, and no magic can fix this. And thus, instead, we are introduced to another one of the witches, the youngest witch, who I believe his name is Sophie?
Sophie.
And she has no emotion, maybe. And that's where we close episode 3. Here's some... I actually think episode 3 is not that bad. I think the feet stuff's fucking ridiculous. It should not be here at all. I also think the smelly lady is. We're really just firing all cylinders when it comes to Inori, as bait for people on the internet. However, I really like Meg's interactions with Inori outside of this. I think the gags they do about like about Meg not being upfront about like the things she actually cares about, and instead she's like world domination, harem. Like, I do think those bits are good. I got a kick out of them. I like the idea of you have two very intense and emotionally heavy episodes to lead this show off, and then you have a calm down, get a glimpse at who Meg is kind of episode. I like that in the grand scheme of it. I think episode 3 can feel like a couple of steps back, though, because there are parts of it that aren't as good. I do like the idea, maybe perhaps, that Faust is also just fucking with her, and this isn't real. That there isn't actually a curse that's gonna kill her, and this is just to try to spur her to do things and become a better witch. Because, oh boy, this timetable ain't looking good. And it would also make sense why Faust has a bad back and we can't fucking solve this problem, and now Inori and Sophie have to do this. That seems a little silly. Or also, but maybe just, you can't fight age. We also do get a hint in episode 3 that apparently Faust has been studying time magic.
Chronomancy. The most
Chronomancy.
powerful magic.
Friendship? Fuck off.
Oh, so a mother and child get iced in a back alley because they didn't love each other enough?
That is what this show is going to teach you.
Right.
I really like the first 2 episodes of this show, and I don't think episode 3 is a far enough step back for me to have put this really low, because I really, really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. And I feel like, I don't dislike the idea of Meg's 17. It makes sense that, like, she was presented a plan by her familiars that was, you must get this many tears in this many days, and then she didn't follow through with it. Especially because, despite how easy episode 1 and 2 made it look, it might not be easy to do this. I wish we got, like, an idea about if she was trying some of the times than just not seeing any progress whatsoever. But I'm not fully against what episode 3 does.
So, my issue I have right now is not exactly with the show. I'm not the biggest fan of episode 3. Part of my issue with it is I feel like it feels like it blew all of its emotional load way too early, where it feels like we got these 2 episodes right at the front, and then I don't know if we're going to have that emotional weight later on.
That's fair.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really hope I am, but I don't know if we can if a show can like keep that up just based on like just general like I don't know if it's possible to.
I've seen a show do it.
But yeah, episode 1, I understand it has to do what it does, because it has to be like it introduces the thing and go. She has to be trying at least right there, because even episode 1 presents the idea. If this was like a thing she had known about, she would have fucked off. She would have just been like, I'll do that later.
Yeah.
She is a month from dying. Goes, fuck, I have like 3. Shit. But it also presents it in a way that it's like, even with episode 1, she didn't even get enough on that day to be meeting her quota.
Yeah.
Like this is a impossible task they set up, and I think it's neat that I can't wait for them to like finally like really hit that with the like, oh, she like really needs to be fucking cooking right now, and for her to come to terms with how difficult it's going to be. And I think we might be like the thing with like having these like sad moments that there's only like, I guess generically like, you think of how many sad kind of things can you have happen in like a show? How many like sad setups can you have before you start having to recycle them? when you're trying to do things that have to be like, she has to meet the person and have some shit happen within like 20 minutes. Because she needs 3 tiers a fucking day at this.
Yeah.
She's needed that
More.
from the beginning. Now she's up to like 4. Like, she needs to be cooking right now. I think the show's conceptually really cool. I really like Meg. I think she's fucking super fun to watch. I'm optimistic about the show being good. Just that we don't have it yet. That the sauce not quite there yet.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Where it's like it just needs to have a little bit more substance to it, and like, where are the stakes? If like we don't feel like we're under a time crunch yet, like you got like 996 out of 1,000 ways to go, and like half of those aren't even like valid yet. We don't know, so I don't know. We'll see.
And this show has the potential to do a lot of very interesting things with its premise, is what I will say. So I'm interested to see where it goes. That's for sure. I am optimistic, is how I sit with it, because I really did enjoy episodes 1 and 2. Episode 1 and 2. And I did not think 3 was too bad. It could have been much better, but there is something very ironic about them going, magic cannot fix what we have done to nature, but watch me fuck with a meteor shower. I like that because that is the perfect example of you have the magic, fuck around, find out for the small things, and I think it's very funny. Okay, guys, let's get into a big discussion now at the very end of our 2-hour and 30-minute podcast. Let's.
Hey, we're getting better with that.
We are. We actually. Well, we're gonna fucking eat a lot here.
Yeah.
Mason.
So, To Be Hero X. So, to start off with, this is a Chinese anime that is actually the 3rd one in the series. It doesn't relate to to either of the original 2 in any way. Yeah,
What?
so there's a there's a To Be Hero, and there's a To Be Heroine, and now there's To Be Hero X. Neither of the other 2 are that good. They're both 2D animated or CG, and they're not great. So we follow. I do not remember his initial name, but we follow a guy.
Lee, I think.
Yeah,
or
Ling Lee.
something.
No, he's nice now.
Yeah. So we follow Ling Lee, who is he works for an ad agency that works with superheroes. Superheroes in this world are just anybody. Anyone can get superpowers. All that you need is for people to trust you. This is a real data value that you can track on a wristband on your arm. And Ling gets fired from said ad agency and is contemplating suicide off a roof when he sees Nice, the world's the new up and coming rookie hero that is basically Superman, who walks his trademark kind of look, and then throws himself off the roof and kills himself. Cut to this guy, Nice's management team, seeing this happen and goes, "Hey, buddy, that was on the roof next to him. You look kind of a lot like Nice. You're Nice now."
Nice.
And just Nice. And he is now a superhero. He's able to very quickly take this spot simply because since the public doesn't know, they just have trust in Nice. And since he is now taken up that mantle and people believe that it's him, he just gets those powers. This leads into our first real issue is Nice has a girlfriend named Moon. Moon has teleportation powers. And at first, how we get introduced to her at first is Nice and her get thrown onto this game show by a different hero who is trying to ruin Nice's image. And he fails because Ling Li was just a super fan of Moon's and knows everything about her.
Very funny.
It's very funny. And that kind of caps off episode 1. Episode 2 is all about how the management company wants Moon and Nice to get married. And Moon fucking hates that idea. Because she doesn't want to be a hero in the first place. She wants to leave. She doesn't want to do it anymore because this management company runs her entire life and she has no freedom whatsoever. So they get locked into their apartment together. Oh, sorry. I forgot something. At the end of episode 1, a thing happens. Nice.
Don't worry,
walks
the
into
show
his-
might have forgotten about it too.
The show forgot about it. I certainly almost did.
Probably not though. Well, I'm sure it's
No.
gonna come back up.
So at the end of episode 1, Nice walks into his apartment after a day of like heroing and all that. He's real exhausted, and he lays down next to what he thinks is Moon, and then like tries to talk to her, and she doesn't respond. And he gets up and looks over and sees that she has a hole in her face. And then the episode cuts. And then we start episode 2, and she is perfectly fine when he wakes up. No issue whatsoever.
Crazy, he just went to bed next to a corpse. Well,
Right,
he went and slept on the
honestly.
couch. He went and slept on the couch instead. But crazy,
Right?
he was like, "This is tomorrow morning's problem."
Yeah.
Mood.
So episode 2 finds them trapped in this apartment together for weeks,
Yeah, like a month.
like a month straight. The show really likes just throwing suicide around like a lot. Moon threatens to kill herself at one point in this episode. And then eventually they come up with a plan to not have that happen, where they fake her death during a fake fight that turns into a real one because the villain that they set up to fight Nice and kill Moon was the original Nice's best friend and ended up taking a heel role and then stopped hearing from his friend,
And they were roommates.
and they were roommates. Definitely not just friends. They were a little bit more than that, but show will never say that.
I think it said it.
Kind of.
I don't think the public will ever say it, but I think the show heavily implied.
Yeah. And during this, Nice just fucking kills him. Yeah. Him and Moon have a fight against this guy. It's in like he creates this whole like above the clouds rock structure where they fight on, and then through fighting, Nice just knocks him off one of these structures and makes this man fall like multiple thousands of feet. And then Moon fake dies. And at the end of this, after everything's said and done, Nice ends up sending her to, I think, Aruba or something like that, some island, and lets her go. And she drops the gun that she uses to teleport, so she will never come back.
Yep.
Episode 3. We meet Firm, I think his name? Yeah, Firm.
Yep.
Firm is a hero where he was a firefighter, saved a girl by holding a building up, and he became a hero after that. Thing that sucks, however, because of this, he got thrown into these legs that just keep him standing all the time.
Poor man.
He can't even sleep, like, laying down. So they jerry-rig his bed to keep him while he's standing. Because he's standing firm. While Nice ends up helping him out because a villain keeps coming after him and targeting him. It's the little girl that he saved initially that made him a hero because she just wants him to have a fucking break. Because he is killing himself doing this and no one's seeing it. Nice saves him, ends up shooting up his popularity, so he's in the top 10 of heroes now. And that's about it for that episode.
In the background, at the end of episode 2, the guy who did the game show is getting corrupted by the evil influence and is now
Yes.
and is now like a watchful eye kind of character. And at the end of episode 3, he has kidnapped Moon because he's going to reveal that
Yes,
Nice is
that she's not dead.
That Nice is not
Whatever
actually
drug
Nice.
he's
Yes,
taking
he's
to
already
amplify his
revealed that
abilities.
Moon's not dead.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been a minute since I
No,
watched
yeah,
the
no,
episodes, too.
me too. I
I
just
watched
way-
these actually like immediately.
yes.
The
Yeah.
way this show does its like superpowers. Are you done, Mason, with recap?
Yeah, no, you're good.
It's just
so
it's
cool.
so interesting that it's like, okay,
Yes.
listen, you can have superpowers, right? But you need trust or fear, right? The problem is, if you build enough trust, you have to live up to the expectations of the masses, which means if you're a firm man and they think you have to stand tall no matter what, guess what? You have to stand tall forever.
Mhm.
Right? Like the expectations are influencing and like modifying these people's psyches. It's modifying their like biology and like how their
Yes.
body can function. It's insane as a concept, yet it makes exact sense for what it is, right?
Episode
Which is why
3
like Nice is like in theory a more tame version, but at the same time, like being perfect all the time, always is
Mhm.
very much a problem, especially on your mental. Hence
Yep.
why we saw in the first episode, the other Nice just says, "Hey, see you
Bye.
bye."
I'm out.
I like,
Like-
episode 3 really hits it home. Like that's the idea of it. Like the purpose of this
Mhm.
episode is to display through Firm like how this works. But episode 2 hints at it a lot and almost also say like Nice flat out says to Moon, "My OCD like from what I was before this has gotten worse. I can feel it. Like it's creeping up on me on how bad it's getting." And Moon's teleportation changes when she meets Nice because the fans want it to work so that she only can teleport to him. That's so fucked up. Episode 3 for me was my favorite episode. I
Yeah.
know Michael's gonna talk a lot about 2, so I'll let Michael talk
Fucking love
about.
the
I'll
episode,
let 2. Fuck, all 3 of these episodes are fucking incredible for
They're
all
all
different,
so good.
all different reasons. I liked that for me for episode 3, I could have written this exact episode if you gave me the knowing the concept of how the powers in the world worked, and you pitched me the idea of Firm Man. I could have wrote you this episode. And I talked to Michael about this of like, you get to the scene where where the girl goes, they reveal the statue and he can't bend down to the girl, and the guy takes the scarf, and immediately there I go, she's Wolf Girl. Because it's so fucking obvious. Because it's so obvious that, like, from a superhero story, this is the moment that changes her. Because her face, the setting, everything about it is perfectly well executed, that you can tune in there and go, this is what's going on. And then it executes it perfectly on how it is carried out throughout the rest of the episode. It's fucking phenomenal. I also cannot express enough how much I loved at the end of that episode. He is having the heart-to-heart with Firm Man, and Firm Man's just kind of like, dude, I'm fucking off. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm free.
luck,
I
brother.
want nothing to do with it. And he's like, I'm not nice. And he goes, man, you're whoever you want to be. And he's like, that doesn't help me, dude. It doesn't help me. Oh, it's so well done. The show itself is so well done, and the way it flows between different animations for what it wants to do to capture the style of, like, what they're portraying in, like, the show, because it's
So,
all a
like,
show.
The comic style for when they're doing the action segments
Yeah.
is so cool. Like, it just works so well. Also, Sawano soundtrack, so it slaps.
Yep.
Yep.
Michael, we want to talk about episode 2.
Yep, of course. Yeah. So I mentioned this to Sean. Episode 2, not this I don't mean this in a way like I cried or anything, but like episode 2 got me.
Mhm.
When we see when we see Moon die in that episode, I thought that was real.
Same.
Because the show up is the way they introduce the wedding. They have the guy show up. It's like, okay, he shows up. You're like, first you're like, okay, is he supposed to be here? And then you go, okay, yes, he's supposed to be here. This is the setup. And then he starts breaking character. and it's very clear Nice and Moon are going, dude, you got to get back in character right now. This is a problem. You have them like in his ear going, dude, you got to get back in character. And you never get a clear confirmation he has shifted back to being in character.
Well, because he
They're
doesn't.
doing the fight. Yeah,
He
because he
doesn't.
doesn't. And you get this whole thing, you have this whole fight happen, and then you have Nice gets the final hit, he turns around, and Moon goes, I was being careless, and I went, no, there's no fucking way they're actually hitting me with this right now. They do the funeral, and you tell that it's fake is when she goes, damn, he's a really good actor. And I'm like, is he? Because then she starts crying in the booth. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? You get to end of episode, and he goes, holy shit, they did that. It's
So she does say when they're floating down, she's like, it's a blood pack. You don't have to cry. It's okay. And he goes, and it's him going, no, because I know what this means.
I will say, to me, the way they portray Moon made it very obvious to me that she's just following through with what needs to be done to get her out of this situation. You have spent your whole life being forced into this role. You are not gonna miss the fucking cue to pick up the sword in the heated battle and follow through with it. Like, I'm so happy it got you. I'm so happy it executed it right from that regard. But like, tuning in and like understanding this is all kind of a forced society on these heroes. Like, it's all for the people's sake, and like they don't really get a say. I was like, yeah, this is the only way out for her is for her to fake it, and they're just gonna do it, and it's rad. It's cool. But
and that also adds to how
Yes.
good of a character Moon is that she gets the cue there and it works.
Dude,
yes,
It hurts so bad that Moon is gone in episode 2 to the point where you're almost like, okay, I'm mad they're bringing her back, but I'm also like relieved because man, she's a fucking awesome character, and I
So
want
good.
her in this show. Like I said, the part where it's like, hey, you want to know why I hate this and why I'm so frustrated? It's because look where my gun takes me, to your side and not anywhere I want to go anymore. Like, my power sucks now because the populace only wants me by your side, right? And the problem is too, afterwards, it's not going to do anything because she's dead. So there's no trust in her. There's no faith in her, right? Or at worst, it would still, in theory, lead her just back to his side because that's where the people think she would belong even afterwards.
yeah. Well,
right?
the idea is that like he manages to convince the populace that they need to let her go.
She should be free.
That she should be free, and she should be able to go anywhere she wants in the afterlife, because that's what she always wanted to do.
And that's how.
But you're right. At a certain point, like, even if she didn't drop the gun would probably stop working because the trust in the power,
people would slowly lose trust and
because
faith
they
in her
believe
she's no
she's
longer-
dead. There's no
Yes.
reason to power it. That is a
It's
really
because it's fresh.
interesting. That's a really interesting and true thing about it.
I mean, we saw with Furman. Literally, the second Furman wasn't the hero anymore, and he had to like bend the knee. Is the second like, oh hey, I can sleep on my back. Like I can move and bend down and do stuff again. The second something happens to cause like that distrust, shit hits the fan. Which is why like this is gonna be such a weird roller coaster of like power dynamics in this show, because you can have a powerful enough villain, but if you crush that trust in Nice, immediately he's worthless.
That's the thing that I was so excited about when I picked this show, because I read the synopsis and I immediately thought, okay, so what happens when someone gets hit hard and the public sees it happen?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and so
Because that
this is,
changes the tide of a fight.
cool
What happens when the public
It's
doesn't
so
think you can
cool.
win?
and we're
Yeah,
about
it's
to
like
get
the
this
fucking
conversation.
Chainsaw Man one.
Yes.
Where it's the more you fear the devil, the more powerful it is. So like again, you have the thing that happens at the end of Chainsaw Man where they go, "Oh, we stopped fearing him. He loses the ability to do things."
It's like Kuroko no basket. And they start not hitting
Yeah.
anymore, and he can't pass as good.
I mean,
Superhero show.
we are gonna get this
Proof.
in the next episode, because we're building into this. If you start to put doubt in the public's mind,
What happens?
what
to
happens? But you also have to imagine that, like, in this world, forums exist, trash talk exists. Like, that goes to show you how indebted the people are to this system and these heroes, that like characters like Nice exist for so long, right? There are almost certainly rumors that exist that are like Nice, like maybe the real Nice has died already. Like that's probably, but so many people are so blindly faithful and loyal because of what they've seen and how the world works that you really have to wedge this, which is why like bringing Moon back is super big, because you are actively showing like the scripting and the lies. This show is so rad. Like, I cannot express how cool this show is. I had somebody like loosely watch a little bit of this show, and for them, a problem was that they why are we like this? Sorry, I'm trying to fix something in addition to why are you a problem?